Alrighty.
Live.
Hi, welcome to News and Nonsense at Noon. I'm Auntie AK, aka Kizzle, aka the auntie of all aunties, and I'm here with
Farrah, resident Caribbean.
I'm Nana, aka the Black Fairy, aka Dark and Lovely.
And guys, we're here as we're always here because the world is literally in the handbasket that it went to hell in. And we thought we'd better bring you the news our way. We're going to dig through all the news and nonsense and give you our take on it. We're here to help you separate the wheat from the chaff, the sack from the crap, what you need to know from what you don't need to know. But before we do, what do we need to do, girls?
You need to put the like button on entry. Please do it now. Now.
And what else they got to do, Auntie Farrah?
If you haven't already signed up to our membership, please sign up to our membership. It is £1.99 if you're tight or on a budget. And it's £4.99 if you want to be family. So please sign up immediately on entry. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. And guys, as always, the disclaimer, these are our opinions. We're not experts. This is the ultimate cool aunties WhatsApp group. If you want actuals and factuals, ask TLC. Google or phone a friend. Any links we share are for you to do your own damn research. So have at it. Thank you.
You guys know what you need to do. Also, just to make note, there are two streams again going out to YouTube. We have landscape and mobile. Mobile view this week has mobile view in the title, so you know which one to click on. Okay? Lovely.
Just for you people that were like, what's going on?
Who's in the chat? Who's with us nice and early today?
All right, we have Simmer came in bright and early. Lovely. We have Saul in the house as well. We have Yvonne with us today. Hello. We have Lady Lyrics in the house as well. People them come in and say hello. You know the chat is where everything happens. So come to the chat on YouTube.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. And guys, hold on. Sorry, just to put my light on because it was a bit dark in my room. All right, guys, here's a run through the top news and nonsense stories from around the world this week. First up. In tragic news, we have had 11 people injured in a train stabbing in Cambridgeshire. 2 British men have been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder following a mass stabbing on a Doncaster to London King's Cross train that left 11 people injured. British Transport Police have confirmed there is nothing to suggest the attack was an attack of terrorism. 2 victims remain in life-threatening condition. And here's a couple of videos that are detailing what's happening.
Which one are you starting off with? Are you starting off with the superintendent?
No, I wasn't. I was going to show the overview.
Maybe start with that.
Because he sets the pace of everything with the news.
I think you should start with that.
All right.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Superintendent John Lovelace, and I'm here to provide you with an update on the incident at Huntington Station that took place here last night. It's a shocking incident, and first and foremost, my thoughts are with the family and friends of those who've been affected and those who are injured.
BBC always take their stuff. That's why I put in the AP link. It doesn't go, so I have to. I don't know why BBC have started that, but they don't allow us to share their bits. Sky News or AP is the best.
All right, cool. One sec.
Sorry, guys, who were watching.
Here to provide you with an update on the incident at Huntington Station that took place here last night. It's a shocking incident, and first and foremost, my thoughts are with the family and friends of those who've been affected and those who are injured. At approximately 7:42 p.m. yesterday evening, there were calls to the police service in relation to multiple stabbings which took place on board a train service that departed Doncaster at 6:25 p.m. and was en route to London King's Cross Station. Officers immediately attended Huntington Station alongside paramedics, where armed police officers from Cambridgeshire Police boarded the train and arrested 2 people. Within 8 minutes of the 999 call being made, 2 men were brought into police custody, where they remain this morning. I can tell you that these are the first male, a 32-year-old male a black British national, and a 35-year-old man, a British national of Caribbean descent. They were both arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Both were born in the United Kingdom. As stated, they remain this morning in separate police stations for questioning. 10 people were taken to hospital by ambulance, and another person self-presented later that evening. While 9 were initially believed to have life-threatening injuries, following assessment and treatment, 4, thankful to say, have been discharged. However, 2 patients remain in a life-threatening condition. British Transport Police declared a major incident yesterday, and counter-terrorism policing were initially supporting our investigation. However, at this stage, there is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident. This is a British Transport Police investigation, and we continue to work to establish at pace the full circumstances and the motivations that have led to this incident. At this early stage, it would not be appropriate to speculate on the cause of this incident. As you can see, the station this morning remains closed. However, we expect trains to be passing through the station this morning. Passengers will see a high visibility presence of police officers at stations and on trains throughout today, up and down the transport network. Our officers are there to reassure the public and to address any concerns they may have. I'd like to thank the public personally for their patience and their cooperation. Yesterday evening, which has already greatly assisted our investigation through the help the public have tendered, as well as the multi-agency response partners from colleagues in other blue light services. I'd like to extend my thanks to our colleagues within Cambridgeshire Police, the East of England Ambulance Service, Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue Service, and Counter-Terrorism Policing. And finally, I'd like to appeal for anyone that's watching who has information connected to yesterday's incident, however big or small you feel that may be, that has not yet spoken to police to make contact. You can do so by texting the British Transport Police on 61016, that's 61016, quoting reference 663 of the 1st of November 2025. Thank you very much. I won't be taking any more questions.
Share some first-hand responses. People said they were there, and then we'll get into it.
Someone who was very badly injured, very lots of blood around them. They were either collapsed or like looking about, they were about to fall over, and people were trying to pass back hoodies and things to pack the wound.
I was in Coach H. I was literally just listening to Audible on my phone. And then I had guys suddenly run past going, run. There's a guy stabbing literally everyone, everything. At first, there was a few of us kind of looking at each other, like thinking it was a joke, like it's Halloween, I'd be pranking. But then you could kind of see in their faces they were being serious.
But the 2 arrests were made at the scene very, very shortly after the incident took place. So very reassuring to see such a quick and effective response from the emergency services. When I first arrived here, I've simply never seen as big a response to an emergency incident as there were in terms of police firing and ambulance. So very reassuring.
So, yeah. Initial thoughts. I mean, yeah, initial thoughts, guys, when you heard about this.
First things, initial thoughts on it. So waking up this morning, obviously we were out last night. I didn't know about this until this morning. And I was immediately thinking, I was not expecting it to be 2 black men. My immediate thoughts were this is probably a deranged white man, specifically because the early things that I was reading, there was no mention of race. So I was already thinking, okay, because there is a lack of mention of race, this is probably a white man that has done this on a train as well. And I was shocked at it being 2 black men as well, and them cancelling out terrorism straight away. I was like, that's quite interesting. That's immediately done. But then went through reading all of the racism that was being spouted on X, and I was like, and here we go again.
Mine, yeah, I'm same as you now. I didn't hear about it last night because I was out, so I heard about it this morning. And the first thing that I thought when I heard about it was, I hope it's not black people. That's the first thing that I thought, because we know what happens when it is. Then when the police officer, the superintendent or whatever his name was, that was just doing the press conference just then, firstly, love and light to the people who have been injured, and I wish them well. But what I found interesting with the police officer when he was doing his reporting was that he said two black men of British descent. He said the first one is a British national. Then he said the second one is a British national of Caribbean descent. Then he said they were both born here.
Yeah.
And I thought, why would you say that? Why does he need to say British national and then say British national of Caribbean descent and then say they were both born here? What's that about? And this is why I feel like Tommy and his gang are gonna use this as an excuse. It could, you know what? It could have been any reason. They could have said it was terrorism. They could have said it was anything. But this is gonna galvanize the racist bigots to be out on the street talking about get them out of here.
Definitely. I've never heard that language before. Have you guys?
I've never heard
it. Describing us as we have the term now, Black British folk. I've never heard of us being called Black British nationals. I've not heard that term before, or British nationals. I've not heard that term. So I was a bit like, what are you saying? What does it mean? And then to clarify, but they were born here as well. Then are we just not Black Brits?
Exactly.
We've always been.
And then to clarify as well, one of them is of Caribbean descent. So what's the other one? Where's he from? Like, if you're going to talk about descent, where is the other one from? What is the difference between him and the one that you're saying is of Caribbean descent? And then you're saying they're both born here. So aren't they just Black British people, like you said now? Aren't they just that? Isn't that it? If you had to describe them, I get it, because people want a description so they can understand what happened. I understand that part. But then he segregated it in such a way. It was a bit weird to me.
Yeah, I think
it's very shocking.
Yeah, I think for some reason, when I heard about this, for some reason, I thought it was America. You know, like some American towns have got UK titles. So something about Huntingdon and Cambridge. I didn't even put it into my mind. So I put it out. I saw it in passing. It was late. And then then I saw it was the UK. I was like, okay, cool. Stabbing. I was like, 9 people again. I don't know if I place an ethnicity. I was just like, I hope it's not an immigrant. I think just blanket. I didn't even think about them being black. I just thought, I hope it's not an immigrant to then feed into all the narratives. Them being black, I'm just like, what the hell? And yes, I know this stokes effect. I don't want to err on the side of anybody, but I'm assuming, I don't know about this British nationals thing. This is wild because, again, just born here, Black Brits, that's what it needs to be. If you want to go into specifics, I don't know how helpful that is, because if you're Black Brits, it's not like you're a Black British Scot. You're not a Black Scot. Those kind of demographics, kind of possibly like where they're from in the UK. But they
didn't say where they're from.
That's what I'm saying. So that normally that's maybe a signifier to something, whatever you want to do. But then the heritage is unnecessary at this point, at any point, because they're born here, British born. I don't know what the national is. This whole stripping down identity is a bit dodgy. I'm not so worried about the racism of it all, because no matter what, anything that goes in the news, if you're not white, then the races are gonna come out. So I don't think this is going to be any more dangerous or put us at risk than anything else that's been happening in the past. However, whenever anything happens, but we are in a bit of a critical time where anything just tips these people over the edge. But I'm not going to take on, well, now they're going to come and look for us even more, or it's going to be more dangerous for us. So I just think, so that part for me, I'm just like, whatever the case is, that Tommy's going to say whatever he fucking wants. Who gives a damn at this point? But yeah, I'm just interested in the wording. I can imagine they're trying to preempt any question, because they also go, oh, if you don't say the ethnicity, you're hiding it, you're pandering to the left, and all the woke So I'm assuming, I want to give very fair benefit of the doubt that they're trying to give as much information to stop speculation, so they don't have those immediate protests and have the far right try and galvanize and move on misinformation. So I understand, and I guess I appreciate. It's just annoying that they're black, but appreciate the fact that you're trying to get as much clear information out there so they can't mix the information and start causing trouble based on misinformation. It doesn't mean to say the racists weren't racist. And yes, and you know, thoughts and prayers to everyone that was injured in that attack. And I hope the person that's super critical, the two people that are critical, they pull through.
So I wasn't suggesting, and I don't know if you were saying that, but I wasn't suggesting that they're going to come out and I'm now feared for my life. What I'm saying is that they're going to use this as an excuse to say more shit, which is, I think we're all saying the same thing.
No, I'm not saying that actually. I'm
just talking to comments as well.
I'm saying that this rhetoric of putting the national and saying that they're black in there, and then also the hyper use of stabbing and knife crime, they are definitely going to start targeting black boys. They were already teetering on, we want to do extra measures for stop and search. Now they have a backing of a mass stabbing to be like, we are going to come down heavily on the black community. We don't know why these boys,
right.
That's what they are going to do. And I just think as I was seeing the headlines rolling in, it was a lot of stabbings, knife crime, and before you know it, we're going to have a Trident again. Like it should, you can see when they start to do their shit.
Yeah. Do you know what? You're so, I didn't even think, it's like my brain didn't connect that. You're so flipping right, Nana. That's absolutely what they're going to do. You're right. That's the reason why they were saying it in the way they were saying it. You're so right. I think as we've all said, I find it annoying that they've categorized it in all these ways, but they've categorized it in these ways, as you say, to highlight that this is where the violence stems from. It's this community. You're absolutely right. I didn't even think of it like that.
I've only seen stabbings. I hadn't seen knife crime attached to it yet. I've only seen headlines word stabbings, and I didn't put any conspiracy behind it because I thought, well, it was a stabbing and that's it at this point. I hadn't seen anything, but I haven't had a chance because it's just happened. So I haven't had a chance to read in and see anywhere where they said knife crime and linked it together. So I haven't seen that. If that's what,
Heavily on TV news. Whenever I want to go with what the establishment is generally going to feed into, just go through GB News. They will give you the sensational title of it. And you know that is going to turn into policy. And they already had a call in where everybody is like, you've got to stop them. And it's literally like, oh, here we go again. We're back there again.
Yeah, I actually was going to use the GB link, but I thought you guys would be like, don't use GB, so I just didn't bother to use them. Because I actually I like to hear what they're saying, because then you hear what the enemies are talking about and how they're talking about it and how that gets fed out. So I actually was going to use.
I hear you, but I don't like putting them on the platform.
No, I get it. I know exactly, but it's just that's the
I get it.
Definitely need to hear what they're saying to be aware.
It's interesting as well that there was two of them. I'd like to hear some more reports as to what that was about.
And then just on the basis of it, or what the hell was going on, because also what just regard whatever the case is, whatever the nationality is what the fuck is going on? Why are you stabbing up people? Like,
it seems like from the carriage that it happened in, I think it is carriage I, that it took place in. Everybody that was in that carriage that was a witness, as soon as they got off, they were taken by police. So the injured and the witnesses. And so all we now have is witnesses that were on other carriages who didn't actually see the incident. So they contained it really quickly as well. It's just like so I don't know, you never know when once people go into police custody, you don't know what is going to come out and how we are going to piece this together. Like if there was any type of a cry, which sometimes they say that there is, like I'm going to do I think that would have been out by now as to what spurred it on.
I know.
I'm wondering, and this is all speculation because all we can do at this point is speculate until we hear more, but I'm wondering if it was an incident between the two of them and then they spread it out with the people around them,
like it escalated,
because it escalated to them involving the people around them. Because I don't understand, what two of you, did both of you have weapons? Like, or was it one of you? Like, what happened? What are you thinking?
That's so weird. I don't know. It's so the there was the one eyewitness who somebody ran past him, and he said that the guy was saying one man with, like, there's a man with a knife, and somebody else said that they saw the man with the knife being apprehended, and then it turned out there was two. So again, it's like, is there one man and he was being backed up by somebody, but it hasn't been said that there's two men holding two knives.
Yeah,
Well,
that hasn't been. Yeah, it's that the two. So I thought it was like two were arrested, and then there's another. I don't know. Look, this is the part where we get into dangerous waters in it, because we just don't know, and we just have to hope. I hope that the truth comes out, and we understand what the hell's going on. And you know, was it mental health? Are you just a cold-blooded nutter, or there was not even what motivational agenda could there be? Whatever the case is, what they're saying is not terrorism. So let's rule that out. It's not an immigrant. Let's rule that out.
Yeah.
So the racists, calm down. Just if you're going to be racist, everyday racism against two black people if you want. And that's it until further notice, man. Let's get some comments.
Crazy one. Okay.
Oh, and also Sora. Sorry, someone gave us a wonderful. Sorry. Thank you so much, Sora. Happy 1st of November. Hope you had a beautiful first weekend of November. Thank you, Sora. Thank you so much.
Okay. Cher says, between that and the black girls convicted of the older gent's death, it's a terrible week. Definitely.
I missed that story. The older gent that got killed.
I'll go through comments and I'll fill you in. You could probably find it. Lexi says, mentioning Caribbean descent at the time when Jamaica needs aid support is definitely an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Pussyfoot says, help your government to keep people silent for your sake. Huh? I don't know. Libra Sint says, what does descent matter if they are British nationals and born here? They did that on purpose. Always pay attention to language.
Exactly.
And okay, let's see, what else are people saying? Okay, Keisha says, very interesting for them to actually differentiate between black and black Caribbean. I've never seen that before in media. Because
what's the other person? If they're talking about descent, where's the other person descended from?
So I wonder if there's two lanes. I thought, okay, they haven't got to the bottom of who the other person is, and maybe and the other thing, or like as in they haven't got the heritage, or there isn't another person, and the person that I don't know. But the other thing is, I wonder if they're using mixed race as black. You know, like when they want to be really like.
Oh. So they're saying a black Brit.
There's still a descent from somewhere, right?
Of course. But I'm just saying, I wonder if they're doing that.
That's interesting, because you could do that. A black Brit and then a British national of Caribbean descent. That we may be, let's see when they do their pictures. If one of them is mixed race, then we know that they are doing another way of talking about a mixed race person. Yeah, they're doing another way of categorizing.
Authentic Reason, thank you so much. One black Brit aged 32 and one white Brit of Caribbean descent aged 35.
It didn't say black Brit. It was black Brit, both of them.
I've not seen that. Where, please, Authentic Freedom, update your information. Let us know where you saw that.
No, because they definitely don't ever categorize a mixed race person as white.
No.
So the white Brit of Caribbean descent. I mean, that's not impossible, but then what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm just.
How would that work?
The terminology.
Because if he's, to be fair, he can't work because he'd have to have been born in the Caribbean, then he wouldn't be a British national. Or
no, he wouldn't.
Yeah, so
well, they would say because he could have citizenship, but that would all. It's not how they have spoken about it, so I don't know of a why.
Please update us, and thank you for the donation as well.
Let us know how that has worked.
This story went over my head. I think I saw it. There's a follow up.
British national, a broad term that includes several types of British nationality, the most common of which is British citizen. So why can't they just say that? I don't understand why they're breaking it down in so many different ways.
I believe that there's an element of trying to ensure. It's a weird one. I do
think, like you said before, that it's to get all the information out there now, so that people can't speculate. Like they've done so many times in the past, like when the guy ran into the people in, was it Manchester or Liverpool? One of those places where they might have been Liverpool, where he ran into the crowd with his car, and he injured all those people. And there was speculation that it was a Muslim guy, but it was a white British guy. You know, maybe that's why they're doing it. But it's not so much that he described them as black; it's the way that he described them as black.
Just on a note, the two girls that were mentioned, girls detained in a youth detention centre following the death of a 75-year-old. The teenage girls have been detained after they pled guilty to the manslaughter of 75-year-old Freddie Rivero, who died following a completely unprovoked attack. And apparently these girls are black, but I don't know. This is just a news story of it. I didn't know they were black.
75-year-old Freddie Rivero was targeted in a particularly nasty and unprovoked attack in Islington on the 27th of February. A group of teenagers got off a bus and surrounded him. The youths, who at the time were 14, 16 and 17, pushed, shoved, kicked and punched him, with one of them filming the incident on her phone. Along with CCTV, mobile phone footage was also played to the court, which showed one of the girls pulling his glasses off his face, then one punching him and him falling backwards. The prosecution said the oldest girl threw the fatal punch. Mr. Rivero died from his injuries a day later.
Freddie Rivero was 75 years old at the time of his death. His daughter read a very moving victim personal statement during the sentence hearing today. She told the court that her father had many serious health problems, but he seldom spoke about his illnesses and pain. Instead, he retained his kind, polite, gentle and friendly manner. He was a loving and supportive father, a loyal friend who was wise but humble, and a central part of her life. He had friends from many walks of life, including his former work life and in the local community. Those who knew him and cared about him have expressed their sadness and shock at his violent death. It is clear from everything I've heard that Freddie Rivero was a thoroughly decent person who was very much loved. He is greatly missed by his family and friends, and I'm conscious that no sentence imposed today could compensate them for their loss. The needless death of an elderly family man is heartbreaking for the family and understandably will have provoked feelings of outrage within the community. Sadly, there is no sentence that could overcome those feelings. I have focused on your welfare and future rehabilitation. It is not only in your interests, but in the interests of wider society that you should in the future be capable of leading useful and law-abiding lives. The information before the court gives hope that this is possible.
Doesn't say what their ethnicity is. It's an article. I don't know.
I don't know if they were mixed, but they were definitely black girls. It was on a few pages, just how young they were, and the older one, I think her picture is out there because she was over 16, so she is shown. They also was speculation that maybe they were a part of a gang or forming a gang in some type of way. And this may have been like a gang initiation. So, you know, to be in the gang, you've got to beat somebody up, and it happened to be this dude. Yeah, so there was a lot of speculation to just kind of keep an eye. But talk about black boys a lot, but actually for a while now, there has been way more people talking about keep an eye on your daughters.
Yeah.
What their circles are, because there does seem to be an increase in this type of sets of violence. There's another set of girls, they also have been prosecuted, who beat up a black man in King's Cross, and he later died of his injuries as well. So there's just been a little bit more talk on actually we need to watch out for this new spate of gang violence that seems to be centering around black girls.
I was just sort of, there's a thing of the footage, but it's not, obviously it's blurred out, so it's not graphic. I don't know if it's worth showing it, but yes, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been, as Yvonne said, it has been a tough week for the black community, really.
And I guess it's like, how do you, this is, before they were getting onto him. Yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like they were trying to rob him, like what was going on, but you can tell they're literally kids. They're kids.
I think
it's turning into a real problem at this
But
moment.
I was going to say that, and there's also, just to warn your young people, that just something that seems like innocent fun, and I'd say innocent fun, but like even not innocent fun, but feels like you're having a laugh and it's not going to go serious. Look at that. I don't want to speak for them. I probably assume they didn't think they're going to end up killing someone that day. Way it seemed, none of them had previous. I think one of them had like some sort of violent previous, but the rest of them didn't. And you might think, oh, I'm just going to touch someone up, just, you know, give them a few slaps and stuff. You just don't know. Again, the daughter said that her dad had pre-existing conditions, illnesses and stuff like that. You just don't know. Someone could look robust, look strong. The best bet is not to get into it. Just don't even bother, because you just don't.
Yvonne said there is a video of the girls in a cab after the attack and they're glorifying what they did. I did see that. So, but you know, as she was reading out, she said that mobile footage was also used as evidence.
Yeah.
Again, I did. They weren't saying they didn't think that they had killed him, but they thought that they had banged him up properly.
Okay.
That's the problem as well. It's like you don't know what one punch is going to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Authentic Freedom's updated their comment. Thank you for another $4.99. Thank you so much. Okay, just watched the snippet from the police conference again. They said Black Brit 32 and Brit National of Caribbean, just 35% of 35 years old. My bad. No worries. We just have to be clear what we're saying, because that's
it's definitely how they ran it, and that would be
They first
Brit National of Caribbean descent is mixed race. That would be interesting as a new.
Definitely. But they did first say 2 black men, and then went on to the Black Brit National of Caribbean descent. So it would be interesting to find out.
Anubis 8918 says, not a tough week for the black community at all. The whole white community didn't take accountable for Raoul Moat or Dale Cregan, so why should black people take accountability for black criminals? I'm in 2 lanes of that, because I at this moment I don't feel like the world is on my black shoulders because of this incident. Again, that's not to be naive to what the narrative can be, how the narrative can be spun, and how it can be spun against our favor. But I think this is another drip in the ocean of all the stuff. And I wonder how we navigate as black people when black people do things. And I think sometimes we also aid and fuel the noise of we're all responsible by being responsible and speaking and saying, oh God, it's another thing against us. How can we talk about this without it being something that we take on board as a collective problem? Because that also, I think, causes a problem. And I've done it myself. So there's sometimes like, oh, damn. And as we say, we know there's just this particular crime didn't bring an image of black people. So I'm a bit like, huh? But there's other things that happen. And I am sitting there like, please, 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 please don't make black people. So I'm not exempt from that. But I'm just wondering, how do we also navigate not taking ownership for everything that happens? Because I think we then create the language and narrative.
If it's ownership, I can only talk about myself. I'm not saying that it's ownership, but when I say that I hope it's not a black person, that's because I know what goes with it being a black person and how far they stretch that fucking rhetoric. That's why I always hope that it's not a black person. That is not to say that we as black people can't call it out, because I think that we always should call out if someone's done wrong, if they're skin folks. I actually feel that we should do that. So I don't know if we're shouldering the responsibility of every black person that's out there. We're just more hoping that it's not, because of the rhetoric that comes along with it. But then I don't think at the same time we should be like, it's a black person, let's not talk about it outdoors. Let's all keep our mouth shut because it's a black person. I don't think that's right either.
I don't think we should not.
That's
what I'm saying though.
How I'm interpreting what that message said was very similar to Facts Only Dad not talking about colorism. We can talk about it and point out precisely what has been done that is wrong, and how the white supremacist establishment is going to use this to punish all black folk.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that we are a part of the collective punishment of it, or that we want it to take place. But I think that we are using our critical thinking skills to call all of it out, to be able to see that criminals are out here doing criminal shit. White people do it every single day.
Yes.
When a black person does the same, it is going to be used in order to criminalize all of us. I don't think that feeds into what white supremacists are doing. It's just calling it out. And I feel like when we don't allow our voices to call out what the system does, they can do it double time because there's no critical analysis of it. So it's still going to happen anyway. I would prefer to be aware that a shift is going to take place than to not talk about it.
I think I agree with that, and I know this is clarifying. Don't get me wrong, I get it because I was hoping they weren't black, and we definitely should talk about it. Just once, and they clarified again. They weren't saying don't talk about it, but I think there's that slither. I think that's where I'm coming from. With everything you said, both said, I absolutely agree. I don't think it's don't talk about it, and I don't think it's not. I don't think it's like because they're black, let's just turn away because we don't want it to be. That's literally being separate. Them, it's them, not me, and I'm not that type of black. None of that. We're all in it, but there is that thin line between that facts only dad conversation where there's making sure our kids are aware and alert and understand who we are in our position in a Western society, well, wherever, but particularly when you're living in Western lands, but also navigating the space where you don't have to take that burden on your shoulder, be aware, but without walking with your head down and being embarrassed of the black community, because then that creates an element of black people who are embarrassed to be black, who do the C word, become like, what do you call it, house Negroes, who become turncoats. We see them in politics all the time in certain positions, and people who have vocal voice like Candace Owens and that type. So don't create those type of people where to be black is a crime in itself for them. But it's finding that thin line between how you navigate that, because some people do take it on board and then they in turn act a kind of way to their own people or want to distance themselves
on board when they believe that the punishment that the white supremacist system does is just and correct because black people are inherently criminals. That's when you you don't separate that actually they are going to be heavy-handed and they are going to punish us for this, and you can see that is wrong. But when you see the punishment as yes, it's rightfully just to punish black people for this, that's the difference. That's interpretation, but that's when you have to use your critical thought. Like actually how they punish black folk is criminal in itself. Now this is not excusing the criminals. They should be either way. Whoever was doing the stabbing needs to be punished to the letter of the law. But other black folks should not be shouldering the burden of this crime because humans are going to do bad shit. All of them.
That's the part. Dosh Pitts is saying, do you seek the validation of whites? If not, what difference does it make? They're going to dehumanize us whether we're good or not. LOL. I don't understand your point.
At all. And this is the thing. It's like we can criticize what the establishment is doing. That doesn't mean that we are saying that white people need to see us in any other way. I just want them to be human and treat us like human beings. Mm-hmm. And they have the power, so we can criticize them. Mm-hmm. Not criticizing them doesn't stop it. I think that's the thing sometimes, black folk, we need to actually get on a path of not talking about it doesn't stop it, you know? Like they're still gonna do it. Actually, sometimes criticizing, talking about it, lobbying does create change. It's not the other way around. It's not being the best Negro that you can be, and then they're gonna see your humanity. That is folly, and it hasn't worked for hundreds of years.
And that's part of that is the reason why, though he hasn't had, we're still not happy with the way he's reported it. Get into nipping it in the bud and not leaving it rampant for speculation, where you are quickly saying it's making it clear it's not terrorism, it's not an immigrant, they're British born and all that. That's part of them responding and reacting to the fact that, when you leave it up to speculation and let the Tommy Robinsons of the world get a hold of it and then have people marching in the streets on speculation, let's not do that. However, they've still got to work on, now we need to understand what is British nationals. And it's something we need to be aware of. Why are they calling us British nationals? Why are they said British black nationals? Why are we not just British? They're talking about ID cards being introduced. There's all of that where our movements will be controlled by ID cards, definitely. And then our identification where that can be withdrawn. And if they're talking about if you're Caribbean descent and if you're Grenadian specifically, and if you're born in the 1970s, and they start bringing out all these bits of data that they decide that can be switched off according
How far away are you from being British? If you've got all these additional steps, that's where it seems like it's going.
Ginger we ain't got time for trolls, but you are not British and never will be. Okay.
All right, your mum.
Thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Because we know that you don't have any power to do anything, but
Yeah.
okay.
But
Fuck you and your mum. Bye.
But yeah. Anyway, we'll obviously we'll be back with this story and see how it unfolds. We have a vested interest because they're black. Doesn't mean to say I'm taking on responsibility of their black criminality.
Absolutely crazy. It's a wild situation. Let's see how this develops, because we haven't had many things like this over here.
No.
And I don't want it to turn into, could you remember when like the first sets of school violence things was going on, the shootings, and it was like one a year. And now
they nicked that in the bud pretty quickly.
Yeah, over here it's been years
since
we've had one, but it's like I don't want these mass violence things coming over here.
Yes,
we got that shit over here.
We don't need that. We really don't need that, because they do seem to be a little bit more, but not in the amount that they are in America. All right, so moving on to the shamed Andrew Mountbatten of Windsor. Fresh.
Oh, yeah, Mouldy, you've already dropped him.
Just Andrew.
And I mean, he's got a surname, and it is what it is. Fresh revelations deepen the crisis surrounding Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the disgraced former prince accused of blocking royal statements that supported victims of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse. The Guardian reports that emails show Andrew hoped to meet Epstein after his release from prison, even as Buckingham Palace confirmed his titles have been formally removed, and US lawmakers intensify calls for him to testify under. Oh God, it's the BBC News one. Let me see if I can find another story. But yeah, talk amongst yourselves about Andrew.
Andrew.
I think the next big move should be that he's not even Windsor, because you know that's not their surname. They took that surname during the First World War when it was all kicking off, because they wanted to disassociate themselves from their German heritage. I think he should be called Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, because that's his name.
That's the real
name. That's his real name. That's what he should be called. When I heard this, I was on the phone to my cousin, and it came up as like headline news. I had the biggest fit of laughter ever, because I just thought, wow, they've really done it. They have stripped him of everything, and they're kicking him out of the yard. Like at first, before I heard where he was going and how it was being funded, I had visions of him going to sign on.
You
social housing.
That was never gonna take place.
I know, but this is before I knew that the little fucker was actually going somewhere else on Sandringham Estate. He's going to be funded by the king. That's part of the deal.
Yes, a smaller place. But also, when we last spoke about it, I did say they were going to do it and they weren't going to need Parliament. There's too many other news stories coming out about Andrew, and Charles has never liked him anyway as a sibling. He's not liked him. So he was always going to lose his title, and they'll do it in stages. It won't be long. Give it a year or two, he will be dashed out of the Sandringham place as well.
He was just waiting for the moment to pass.
Yes, he's definitely going.
I just want to go back to
what Charles did. You know what this is like? Have you not seen Godfather?
Yeah.
Have you seen Godfather 2?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when Fredo fucks up.
Yeah.
Right. and then Anthony's like, okay, I'm just gonna wait like for the mum to die. Yeah. And then basically when the mum dies, that's when he starts fucking with Fredo.
That is exactly what is happening to Andrew. Exactly.
This is the same thing that's happening to Andrew.
Yeah. Going back to Josh Pitts. Josh Pitts says, what aren't you understanding? It's about the past topic. This whole video is about your concerns about how white people are going to view us after this incident, unless you seek the validation and why care. We already explained it. Just wanted to
use your brain. Honestly, engage brain matter into. It's got nothing to do with views. It's got to do with power and what they will do to young people on the streets when they elevate stop and search. Now look into sus laws so that you understand what happens when they start criminalizing people and they can stop and search them because they have a big incident that takes place. Use your brain.
That's all on that. So let's play. There's a little bit of an overview from Sky News.
Joins us now. Jenny, what do you make of what's been announced in the last half an hour or so?
Well, I have just walked into the house and heard this news, and I am pretty astonished, I have to say. This is the strongest action against a member of the royal family that I know of. And I think that the king is acting very much here in harmony with public opinion, media opinion, and parliamentary opinion. I think when we have those three forces lined up together, and I've never seen as much criticism of a member of the royal family as we've had of Andrew, even to the point that, you know, over last weekend, I was feeling a touch uneasy about being part of that pylon on Andrew, wondering just how far it could go. So I am very glad, actually, that the king has taken this action now, has put a most decisive line under it and between him and his brother. It must have been an extraordinarily difficult decision, but it is the correct decision. And I think it is significant that in the statement, the King and the Queen point to the victims of the abuse, and that's what they want this to be about, more than the reputation of the royal family. But by doing this, they have alleviated some of the damage that's been done.
And placing the victims centre is something that Prince Andrew seemed unable to do himself. There was very little contrition of his friendship with Epstein in all of those interviews that he gave and the comments that he made on the subject.
Time and again, yes, he's had the opportunity to express sympathy, had the opportunity to do something, as he did say in the Newsnight interview he would. I know that as part of the settlement, there was a donation, a hefty donation, I think, to Virginia Giuffre's charity, her foundation. But nevertheless, he should have done more, and he certainly has paid the price. I mean, it's extraordinary to think that he's no longer going to be a prince. And that's...
It's not fucking... Okay.
I don't know why she's going on like.
She's going on like she wants to cry.
Is it?
Prince Andrew strongly denies all the allegations of sexual assault made against him. Now this man wants him to stand by his words.
Please come to the United States, tell us what you know, and clear your name before a committee.
Suhas Subramanian sits on a congressional committee looking into Jeffrey Epstein's crimes.
And do you understand that there are videos and images that are in those files?
That's my understanding, yes.
And he believes there are many questions for the prince yet to answer.
I wouldn't be surprised if Prince Andrew's name comes up again.
What are you calling for Prince Andrew to do here? What is the committee hoping he will agree to?
Yeah, I hope Prince Andrew will come to our committee and testify about everything he knows, both his associations with Jeffrey Epstein, as well as any of the activities Jeffrey Epstein participated in, and his knowledge of the whole, what I call criminal enterprise that involves sex trafficking underage girls. And this would be an opportunity for Prince Andrew to clear his name and to come before lawmakers here who are investigating this matter. And I think an opportunity for him to kind of move this forward and get this story off of him. So if he did nothing wrong, then he should come and testify before a committee.
Does the committee have the power to compel him to appear?
You know, he's a foreign national, and so we're very limited in our ability to compel him to do anything, really. But again, you know, we offer different venues for him to be able to tell his side of the story. He can come and talk to us sort of in private or in a deposition-style meeting. We've done that with other people. Or if he wants to come and do a public hearing, I think we'd be happy to do that. Certainly, there's many members of the committee who want to see him here and want to hear what he has to say.
We've heard a lot of kind of new details coming out and reinforcing details that Virginia Giuffre had said when she was alive, that in her biography. What was your reaction when you saw some of the kind of those details and the abuse that she suffered?
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't surprised, and unfortunately, you know, Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of associates, and many of them were either helping helping by being complicit in his actions or participating in these sexual assaults of underage women. And so, you know, Prince Andrew had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. It's not surprising to see his name pop up again.
Do you think there was a financial...
1 second, and I just want to share the revelations from Virginia's book.
An explosive new book hitting the shelves today is set to heap fresh scrutiny on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and Britain's Prince Andrew. Nobody's Girl is a posthumous memoir from Virginia Giuffre. She is the woman who alleged she was trafficked by Epstein while underage. and forced to have sex with high-profile men, including Prince Andrew. For his part, Andrew has always denied Giuffre's allegations. Well, she died by suicide earlier this year, but Giuffre's co-author says another powerful man came up in their conversations. Have a listen.
Did she mention President Trump at all in your discussion?
Oh, she absolutely did. She was a huge Trump fan because he campaigned on releasing the Epstein files.
Well, CNN's Salma Abdulaziz is live outside Buckingham Palace for us with the details from this brand new book. And what does it tell us about her alleged relationship with Prince Andrew, one that he has, of course, strongly denied?
I think a lot of what you see in her memoir here, Nobody's Girl, Becky, is not necessarily that the broad strokes are new to us. These accusations against Prince Andrew have been around for many years now. It is the harrowing details, it is the blow-by-blow account that sends shivers down her spine. She describes the first time that she was meeting Prince Andrew being told, allegedly, in her words, by Maxwell, that today, like a Cinderella, she would meet her Prince Charming, and that they went out shopping that day, and that she very specifically picked an outfit that was these sparkly jeans with a pink top because she was a teenager and she wanted to wear what teenagers do. And she looked at the outfit and thought that's something that Britney Spears might wear. And to now know that outfit and remember that infamous image from 2001 that was published across British tabloids, allegedly, again, of her and Prince Andrew, you get an understanding of just how young she says she was at the time. She even recalls that Prince Andrew was asked to guess her age during this first meeting, during this initial meeting, and that he accurately described it as 17 years old. And I want to read you an excerpt from the book here as to what happened in that conversation next, according to her. "My daughters are just a little younger than you," he told me, explaining his accuracy. As usual, Maxwell was quick with a joke. "I guess we'll have to trade her in soon." And it's those tiny details that I think will shock and horrify readers of this nearly 400-page book. Now, Prince Andrew vehemently denies any of the accusations against him. He says he's never even met Virginia Giuffre.
Okay, so let's get into it. Well, there's more, but it can go on forever. What do you lot think?
Mate, there's a lot. Just what she last said about, he said that he had never met her before, but still you paid her 12 million for somebody that
for someone you don't know.
It makes no sense. Even him stripping of the titles is one thing, but it feels like stripping him of his titles, there may be some type of criminal case coming. It's like you actually are, it's so that it's just Andrew that is going to face whatever he's going to come, not Prince Andrew, because then the family would be implicated in some way.
Exactly.
We have Sistrin in the chat just said something very poignant. Andrew has had a security detail literally all of his life. So there are security people that would know, even if he sent you out of rooms when he was in rooms talking to people, but you would know, especially who he had been socializing with, which women, how young they were. There are other people that would have witnessed this, other than the victims in this as well. So why are the police not doing proper investigations into him? And then there's another story come out just about Andrew, that he was frequenting lots of different prostitutes in Thailand.
Yes.
And that has been, so again, it's like, no, we know.
Did that come out from one of his ex-security people? Wasn't it someone that, that said that?
Yeah. So then there's others that should start coming forward to paint a picture of Andrew, and they probably have. So that's why, they are severing ties with him in some capacity.
Absolutely.
But we need a criminal investigation into him now.
There's pictures of Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein in Andrew's back garden in Royal Lodge at a fancy dress party for his daughter's birthday. And this is only in like early 2000s or something like that.
It was 2006 for Beatrice's 18th birthday. Why the hell are these people at your child's birthday anyway? Weinstein, Epstein, and Maxine. Sorry, Maxwell. The 3 degrees of nastiness.
Right.
And you there as well.
Yes, it's a picture from BBC, but I'm trying to get a picture to show a picture.
Yeah, it's like all 3 of them together. in fancy dress in the back garden for Beatrice's 18th birthday.
Yeah.
Now, it is known that he circled with these people, and he called Jeffrey Epstein a great friend. He hoped to see him when he came out, when he did that little stint in jail, but was really on house release most of the time. That's when he was pictured with him in New York. Like, he was still in contact with Giselle or whatever, and Ghislaine. This is a person who's actually not trying to disassociate himself because he didn't think that he had to. It's only now that the shit is hitting the fan that he's a bit like, oh no, I don't know these people, I'm not involved in all of this stuff. What's really interesting though is, I think you're right. I think there's something brewing, which is why Charles is trying to shake him off as much as possible. But I think it's important to remember that it isn't like Andrew is going to go and sign on and try to get social housing. He's moved to Balmoral, and he's going to be funded by the King's personal account. Now, what you've got to remember is that's not really anyone's personal account, and that's not really their own property, because where did that money come from? Where did the wealth come from that has enabled them to have somewhere like Sandringham? Where has that come from? Where has the wealth come from that has enabled Prince Charles, who hasn't paid a red cent in any kind of tax all his life because he's royal and didn't pay inheritance tax? Where has that come from? It's still come from the British public. So it doesn't matter that he's not in Windsor anymore. It's still off the backs of the British public that he's got this money.
Yeah, basically. Thank you, sis, for your yes, thank you. Andrew's nickname was Randy Andy, and it's so interesting as you grow older, because I remember Randy Andy when we were younger, and I was too young to probably understand all the stuff. But Randy Andy, he's a playboy prince, and that type of kind of Lothario. You know that again, men getting no sexism, but just saying men getting away with being free and young, dumb, full of cum, and doing all this stuff. Randy Andy was seen as a bit of a joke, but now there's more sinister undertones to that Randy Andy, and the fact that the headlines and the newspapers can make it a parody and give it a cool nickname, where definitely the establishment and the industry behind the scenes would have known that Randy Andy had more connotations than what was putting out there, but yet you're presenting him to us, to the public, as this old fella, like a fun fella having fun and just being a bit randy. That's what the whole system is corrupt. Yeah, go on, sorry.
I remember they also used to have him in the papers like he was the good-looking prince. Yes, he was the one that his mum wanted to be like the next king because he was also so good looking, and that was pushed on everybody in society as well. That actually Andrew is the good looking one. He's fun. He's not as uptight as Charles. They were presenting Andrew like he was a real viable person as business as well. Everybody is complicit in this, the media included. Actually, somebody that people should be listening to.
So I watched an interview with him on Wogan, but it wasn't Wogan who was interviewing. It was I forget her name, one newsreader, and he was like openly flirting with her, but she was asking him about the name, and he was like, oh no, what happened was the reason why I've got that surname, it isn't at all what you think. It's when I started boarding school, by mistake I ran into the girls' dormitory, and that's where it came from. They were like, oh, Randy Andy.
Yeah, so you girls have schoolgirls have access to the press to create a title, a nickname for you, sir. Of course. So the noise is terrible. So yeah, he went apparently had 40.
Yeah.
Oh, why do they choose this horrible?
It's just the headline scape plate. You know, they do this, they just throw headlines up.
Yeah. It's annoying. But anyway, okay. I was trying to get a story into that. 40 prostitutes, like you got a problem. And that's not to excuse it. And then but you know.
He has a problem. That's basically what the guy was saying. He has a problem. He has an insatiable appetite for sex in lots of different ways. And if you can do this on a trip that is publicly funded in the wake of everything that is going on in your life, we know what you were capable of in the high time when nobody was looking at you.
Yeah,
like, this is crazy work. He has a problem. He needs to be in prison.
And also the fact that this is again the playground of the rich, where the rich can just do can get into nonsense, and it's from celebrities to all the thing, and then their handlers handle it until it becomes a risk to them. And that's what happens. Until you are embarrassing the family, the business, the company, whoever's involved, your business partners, or whatever, that's when they decide, okay, now we need to take you into task. And it's not real task, because as you said, he's not going to prison, he's going to Sandringham with monthly pocket money.
Let's see. Eventually he may go to prison. That could definitely happen, because he's been too stupid and he doesn't have his mum. Now you have a sibling that don't like you. You can get washed out, but he's stupid. He's a stupid man.
Yeah. And it's true. I meant to say that last time we spoke. Where is Edward? Where is Prince Edward, please?
He does a lot of royal duties.
Sorry?
He does a lot of royal duties. Him and his wife do a lot of royal work. They keep their head down and they do grind.
Yeah. They absolutely do keep their heads down. I think what happened is with Edward, when he had to pick up a lot of Harry shit.
Come off screen, Farrah. Did you know that?
No, my camera's gone.
Oh, okay.
He had to pick up a lot of Edward's Harry shit when he stopped doing royal duties.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and his wife, they keep their heads down.
Fair enough. Alrighty. So yeah, we'll keep it. Why would these parents allow Ghislaine to pimp their daughters? We could go into it. There's why did the royal family allow their son to be a disgusting piece of work and allow him to run rampant? Because you definitely knew, everybody knew, allegedly, of what he's been accused of, allegedly.
It's just actually with Andrew though, because there's financial stuff as well.
Yeah.
Deals that, I mean, the British have done this forever, but he also was doing it. He was offering services, access to MPs. He has been a rotter for all of his life, but while his mum was alive, he was just shielded from his shit. He's a bad businessman and he's a dirty man. Like, he needs to be agreed.
Yeah, 100%. I'm moving on to a huge atrocity. What's going on in Sudan is kind of ramping up in the media, and then more and more people are talking about it because it has fallen to the RSF. And the UK and the US, of course, have been accused of complicity in the Sudan genocide through arms supplies to the UAE. The Campaign Against Arms Trade, CAAT, has accused the UK, US, and France of complicity in Sudan's genocide by continuing to arm the United Arab Emirates, which is alleged to be supplying weapons to the Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, which has been accused of committing the genocide and ethnic cleansing in Darfur, with UK-made military equipment reportedly found in their possession. So there's so much going on here. It's been horrible. I definitely, as I usually don't, look at the horrific images that are coming out of Sudan, but there's enough people talking about what's going on in Sudan to know it's just disgusting, devastating. And once again, when you follow the root of all of it, it's that fight over resources and countries that are not black people fighting over something that's not theirs. I'm just going to set up this video. You guys can talk about your initial thoughts to what's going on.
As sad and disgusting as the images are, I'm glad that the RSF, in their infinite wisdom, were out here boasting about what they were doing, and they have provided most of the images of the atrocities as well themselves. But at least it's got loads of people really understanding how disgusting and terrifying, and that this is purely a genocide that is being funded by the UAE, so that we can actually see what is going on. Because for so long it's been other people reporting on what's going on in Sudan from outside, but not really getting images from in Sudan to actually quantify what is happening. So I'm glad we are here now. I'm so glad it's out there.
This is a gold mine in northern Sudan. Sudan is the third largest gold producer in all of Africa, behind South Africa and Ghana. Gold makes up 70% of its exports, and it's estimated 85% of that comes from small-scale mining, not large industrial operations. The country's officially declared gold production has nearly doubled since the start of the war, 65 tons of bullion last year, but the real figure is estimated to be much higher. Analysts say most of the illicitly exported gold is smuggled abroad by the paramilitary RSF. Sudan has gold deposits across various regions. These include the Red Sea Hills, the Nuba Mountains and Darfur. Then there's copper, found mainly in the Red Sea Hills and the Nuba Mountains. Copper is increasingly valuable because it is vital for the AI and tech boom. Sudan has uranium deposits in several areas, including the Nuba Mountains, Darfur and along the border with Central African Republic. Sudan also has significant iron ore deposits, particularly in Darfur, Kordofan and the Red Sea Hills, and there are rare earth deposits, especially in the Nuba Mountains and the Red Sea regions. Perhaps Sudan's most obvious natural resource is the River Nile. The Blue and White Niles merge in Khartoum. The river is crucial for agriculture and the production of hydroelectric power. Sudan also possesses significant oil reserves, especially in its southern regions. Some oil reserves were lost when South Sudan gained independence in 2011, but China is a major investor in Sudan's oil. It is transported through pipelines to Port Sudan, a northern city of huge strategic importance, giving access to the Red Sea and international markets. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
Joining us in the studio is Ahmed Ibrahim. He is a former staffer in the transitional government under the former Prime Minister Hamdok and an independent analyst. Many thanks for joining the program, Ahmed. So Sudan has a long history of conflict, but this latest war stems from a power struggle between the General Al-Burhan and the RSF leader Mohammed Hamdan Daglo, and that began in late 2021. If we could start there, can you remind us how this partnership broke down?
Actually, the partnership broke down in early 2023 when there were deliberations over what was called then the framework agreement. And the main issue that broke the negotiations over the transitional period was the RSF, the Janjaweed militia, was supposed to be integrated into the national army. But for various variables, whether geopolitical, whether internal politics, this didn't happen because many bets were on the RSF militia to actually take over the resources of the country and to replace the national army and to actually take over the whole country. The main issue was the time frame to reintegrate the RSF into the army and how that should be phased out. And the other main thing is the leadership of the new forces, which was a complete delegitimization of the national army and a somewhat more legitimization for the RSF. These were the main points of contention that led to this war.
And we listed there some of the critical resources that Sudan has,
Indeed.
From gold to copper to oil. That played a big role in this, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And it will continue to do for some time because it's not just the rare earth minerals, it's not just the arable land. Sudan also has a very long sea line over the Red Sea, and it's geopolitically placed between the Arab world and the sub-Saharan Africa. It's somewhat of a link, and we can see this in Darfur right now. Many reports from Western media outlets, from African media outlets that says even now Sudan is the world leading exporter of gum arabic, which along with livestock, all of these are being smuggled out of Darfur, out of Kordofan, and being re-exported through other East African countries as part of the plot to actually strip Sudan of its national resources that should be preserved for future generations.
As always, the rest of the video is there's a link there for anyone who wants to watch the whole lot. It's 9 minutes long. But as always, fighting for someone else's resources.
I've just put a couple of things in our chat which kind of break stuff down quite nicely as well, if we want to play those.
We'll talk amongst yourselves while I figure it out.
Okay. What he was saying, I guess knowing like the different ethnic groups as well, and he didn't factor that in as at play. He's talking about the integration of various different ethnic groups, not just warring bodies, like not just like this type of army. There is, and this is the thing where when you see the bodies of the people that have been killed, they are the African ones. They're not the Arabic phenotype. They are getting killed as well, but the mass kind of villages that are being killed, they are the African villages that are being killed.
Yeah.
And the RSF are generally more of the Arabic. They see themselves as Arabic as well. They get a mixture, obviously, throughout the years. But that's a component in this as well.
Yes.
And you know that people, the UAE are playing on that. You do want the Arabic people to have a hold of Sudan and the resources in order to prop up your side. Because it's like, you know, they're seeing it as like the motherland. That's a factor in this. And then there are other African countries, again, who have these same differences that will them. And it's a huge problem. But also, it's really hard because it's like you want the international community to do something.
Yeah, but you don't.
Not, you know, because they also have their interests and they don't want the people that are being killed. They don't want them in power either. So it's like, who do you cry out for? I just care for the humans that are trying to feed their flipping families. That want to live life that are now caught in this resources thing when all they want to do is go about their business.
Exactly. That's exactly the part. That's exactly the part. Let me play this clip.
Sorry.
UAE
I was going to say, there's one actually that the last one that I put in explains what we were just talking about, that how changed as well. Sorry, there's one more after that. Sorry, Crown. There's one more after that. The very, very last one I've put in the group with Vic Mensa.
Oh, I had that one. Bloody hell, that's the one I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a great.
Well, should we just go through all of them anyway? We get there.
Yeah.
All right. Where am I at now? I've lost my plot. One sec. That one. Let me
I gotta say, I really do love this woman, Marianne.
Me too.
Marianne Francis.
Okay,
me too. I would love her on the main show.
Yeah.
She actually on News and Nonsense. Actually,
you're having News and Nonsense. We'll reach out.
Yeah.
Gold mines, and it became the second largest global exporter of gold in the world. It trades over 20% worldwide. Where's the gold coming from?
Africa. Dubai is a global hub for gold trade, but it's mostly from Africa. And what is interesting is that also artisan mining, which is mining that is done, but through child labor and all that sort of stuff, illicitly mined gold, also ends up in Dubai. The beauty about Dubai is you can literally, and this is what's happening, people use gold nuggets that they wash out of the ground, put them in a suitcase, sometimes a whole full suitcase full of gold, bring it through customs in Dubai, no questions asked. You bring it, sell it in Dubai, and they give you cash for it. They don't ask where the gold is coming from. And then they melt it down and you never know where it's coming from. And the gold smelters themselves make it impossible to trace that gold. But these are billions and billions of dollars that are being laundered. And obviously in Africa, the gold trade is controlled by elites that are close to the political leadership. So not only does it give the UAE access to these economic elites, but also to political elites. It gives them leverage and strategic depth, if you will, in Africa. And this is why Dubai now has become, not just for economic reasons, a gold hub. It's an element of statecraft and political power.
Is funding and arming genocide in Sudan so they can steal the country's resources. Specifically, it's gold. Because let's not forget, this is what Sudan looked like in 1970 before it was pillaged for its resources. And this is what the UAE looked like. And after decades of war and stealing gold, this is what it looks like now. The UAE is the largest importer of Sudanese gold, smuggling in roughly 90% of Sudanese gold exports. And the UAE now has the world's largest gold markets despite having no gold mines of its own. Yep. It steals all of that gold from Sudan by arming and funding the RSF. The RSF controls or participates in gold mining operations in areas of Sudan like Darfur and Kordofan, areas that they had just recently attacked and killed civilians in, by the way. So the majority of their cash flow comes from gold. That extracted gold then moves out of Sudan into largely informal smuggling channels, where it eventually makes its way to the UAE to be imported, refined, traded, and monetized. That monetization then comes back to the RSF in the form of funding and weaponry. The UAE is literally buying that gold in blood. And for the UAE, this helped them become a large gold trade hub. They essentially began benefiting from large flows of incoming gold from Sudan, which strengthened its position in the global gold market despite having zero gold mines itself. The entire image of Dubai wealth, Dubai luxury is stolen from Sudan. The UAE is built on the backs of genocide, war crimes, slave labor, and theft. The UAE is funding
a genocide in Sudan. This is not new, but honestly, it's been difficult to gather public support because they're using black mercenaries to kill black people. But now videos have started to emerge, horrible, gruesome mass murders. I asked my father how long it's been going on. He said since the beginning of time. You see, Sudan represents the last frontier of African countries that they couldn't completely Arabize. And of course, they have oil. This millennia-long attempt by Arab powers to take over Sudan and Northern Africa is exactly how Egypt went from looking like this to looking like this. I love ancient Egypt. I'm an Egyptian history buff. The Nubians of modern Sudan were actually the pharaohs of Egypt at a point in time, and always inextricably linked to that cradle of civilization. Long before that, the original pyramid builder of the Great Pyramid was a pharaoh named Khufu. And somehow these motherfuckers say the Egyptians were not black. Since the fuck when you ever meet a non-black person named some shit like Khufu? Now my son is Kofi, my father is Kweku. You put it together, you get Khufu. Like, what are we talking about? That's like me going to ancient Britain, they got a King Brett. And I say, man, Brett was black. Look at Skepta. And just because I got time today, I'm gonna show you how the Egyptians of Khufu's time depicted themselves. This is the tomb of Hesi-Ra, AKA Richard fucking Pryor. Look at this nigga's afro. This is the tomb of Mastaba. These are black people. The Egyptians depicted themselves in a lot of shades, many of them brown, because the concept of race as we know it today is a fallacy. But to try to erase the fact that they were black is some stupid shit. Back to Sudan. My father's best friend in university was a man named John Garang. He was a Sudanese revolutionary and vice president. He fought proxy Arab militias that would eventually morph into the modern day RSF, the group carrying out the genocide. The first time I ever saw my father cry, we were on a road trip, and John Garang's helicopter mysteriously crashed out of the sky. It's burned into my memory. The destruction of African people by the Arab world is an ancient tale. Our freedom is not only to be won from the Europeans, it's just as necessary to break free from the abuses of the Middle East. But look, the Middle East Arab people are not a monolith. We're very connected. There's a lot of love, but it's shit to address too. When I was in Palestine, the children called me nigger in Arabic, and I made a decision that day that one injustice does not justify another. It's possible for me to believe in your freedom, even if you don't believe in mine.
Yeah.
So, I think we talk about Palestine and Sudan and Congo all the time, and we talk about where all of this is originating from. So if you think about what all these clips have said, is that Dubai is the greatest exporter of gold, right? But they don't have any gold mines. Israel, same with diamonds. They don't have any diamonds, but they're the biggest exporter, one of the biggest exporters of diamonds. The reason why these genocides are happening in these, well, not the reason why, one of the reasons why these genocides are taking place in these countries, and then the neighboring countries aren't saying anything, is because they're all in it together, really and truly, because it's all about stealing resources from these people, stealing resources and land. That's what it's about. That's why the genocide in these places can continue. And we're here sitting and saying, how is that possible? How is that possible? It's because it's all about money and it's about resources and power.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's again, I always say it's like mum and dad arguing over the kids, and we're just looking at like what side do we take? This is what it is all the time. And it's exactly what you were saying then about we want people to get involved. Because I was sitting there like, who gets involved? But who can we trust to get involved? because there's also there was an article I was reading about whenever they do gung ho and say we're going to come and do something about it, they're then siphoning away land, resources, and bills to we'll help you, but then you've got to sign your life away. That's what they're saying about
Like
all
they've done in Congo,
from hurricane relief to what's going on in Congo to all the things. Any type of national disaster, sometimes like there's that conversation the West rub their hand because then they can implement even more tentacles into the countries that need their help and depend on them, and just then it's just reimagining what slavery is, and we're never.
It's the people on the ground that is, it just breaks my heart because you know you basically have to survive long enough for whatever this power struggle is to move somewhere else for you to be able to bring up your families in some type of semblance of peace if they don't starve you out first.
Exactly.
Like, it's just so I don't know what the world's humanitarian force is. I have no idea because it's definitely not America. You know, if they come in and help you, even if they decide you are the side that we are going to help, you're also going to lose half, if not 70% of your resources over 1,000 years for them to have helped you anyway. So I don't know. It's just desperate times. I have no solutions for how this is solved.
No,
I don't know, because what African country can you rely on within Africa to actually really be like not in our continent? Can you guys do this? Like, I don't know where you go.
I don't know how you do it because there seems to be more African leaders kind of trying to find ways around shaking off the shackles of colonialism. I think our president in Ghana has recently announced that English won't be the primary language taught in schools anymore. So there's all of that stuff that they're trying to figure out. It's taken us damn long, but it seems like stuff is happening. But again, it's like to what extent? Because you'll have people that are like, yeah, that's great. People are praising Traore and other leaders, but then you could peel back the layers. There's other deals and other negotiations with other countries that maybe seem less of a threat, but we're still dependent on other countries to take us out of the bullshit. How can the biggest continent in the world have to not be able to galvanize and come together? It's just it's so.
You said it's right, because at the moment you've got a lot of African leaders that are trying to fix shit on their own doorstep, and that's the tragedy of it. It's because it's been done so dirty, and it's been under colonial rule in one way or another for so many flipping decades, centuries even. It's very difficult for everyone to galvanize and come together to solve the great problem, because they're trying to solve the problem on their own doorstep.
Yeah.
You know, I would love it to be not on our continent. I would actually, same as the Caribbean, I'd love it to be not around Yasser. I'd love that shit, but it's very difficult. Like you said, Nana and AK, I'm really, it's happy is not the word to use, but I am glad to see that images are coming out, and what's happening in Sudan is being spoken about more, because much like with the IOF, with them putting out images of the atrocities that they're carrying out on the Palestinians. When the RSF are putting out images about the atrocities that they're carrying out on the Sudanese, I think it is more difficult for people to ignore that shit, because you can see they're doing it themselves. So it's not real if they're doing it themselves. There is there's a great brigadier called General Al-Faith Abdullah Idris, and he's killed 900 people in like the last, I think it was like a day. He killed 900 people. Himself. And you know, like 400 of them were patients, medics, and even a female MP. He's just the level of atrocities that's happening. I saw an image, I don't know if it's real or not, but I saw an image and they were showing like it was an aerial shot of a place in Sudan where they had killed 2,000 people in 48 hours. They had killed 2,000 people, but the number of people that they had killed was so vast and so violent in the way that they did it. It stained the earth.
Yeah, they say
Like,
because
no, I think that is an actual satellite shot where you could see
Yeah,
the different areas. It's been how they've been able to track where they are doing it is through the red blood stains where they're doing the mass graves, so that it's actually there from space. You can see what is going on. But that guy is so evil that he was documenting what he. I don't even know what. I don't know what that is as a human. I don't know where you have gone, that there's no humanity in anybody that you're seeing before you, screaming. All of that is nothing. It's just numbers to kill. And it did remind me of the stories of slavery when they got to the Americas and were killing all of the indigenous, like, you know, mass graves of people. I don't know what that is in humans when you can do that, where you can be like, this is now mine. I am going to take your land.
Regardless.
But I don't care who the hell.
And even if you're running away from me, I'm still going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
And I'm at a loss because I always say that you want to rule the world, you want to have power, but why do you want to rule over broken people and mash up people and destitute people? How does that? I don't understand it. We know it happens. We can see it happens, and it's happened throughout generations. I just don't get the logic where you want to rule over people that are broken, in fear, starving, dying, ill, disease, can't work, can't do anything. They're fucked. And that's what you're happy to rule over. I don't understand the benefits of this.
It's two different things, though. Ruling over broken people, absolutely, I can understand, because then you can get them to do whatever you want. They've done that to us. Like, you put them in a system where you're going to wake up every day and you are going to comply. That's one thing. That's how you break a civilization. Now, the sickness and making people ill, I have no idea why you would do that.
Yeah.
Unless you truly are like, actually, in order for us to maintain where we are, you only need 2 billion of them. So whatever happens to the other flipping 6 or 7 is, you know, is by the by. But that doesn't sound human to me. Literally, I'm like, I don't understand who these people are. What do you get? So you have all the money in the world, you have all the resources, for what?
And that's the point. Yeah, what's left?
What's the point?
I mean, when you say it doesn't sound human, it's so far that's what's been documented over time. That's all humans have ever done. Just kill.
Well, a set of humans. It's not everybody.
It's a set of humans.
Yeah.
It's a set of humans that have done
generally
that.
a few thousand of them, and it's like, So what is this? Because if a few thousand people over millennia, you can pinpoint who they are, their families and everything else, have been able to mobilize over billions of others, I don't know that they're human. Honestly, I don't know. Because lots of people literally just want to be productive for their families. If there isn't billions of us, not even millions of us, that want to rule over billions of people. There isn't. Most people don't. Most people don't even want to be managers. Like, it's so, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I firmly have my tinfoil hat on. I don't know that these people are real. I have no idea.
They listen, I say so.
Yeah, it's just important for us to keep talking about this and shining a light on and talking about what's happening in Congo and Sudan and in Palestine. It's very important, and it's not about fucking oppression Olympics. It's all intertwined.
Yeah, they're all like, you know, I saw I can't remember, maybe it was a news report that at the moment there are 50 different conflicts in Africa.
There's some like
most conflicts,
right?
Anywhere on this globe is taking place in Africa at this moment in time. Africa has the youngest population, which is a threat to everybody else, because you have a workforce that can outwork everybody else as well, other continents. And then we have 40% of the world's resources reside within that continent. This is all by design, that you are going to have 50 separate conflicts. It's exactly that. Then you go into, we have to survive as our little countries that they flipping carved out in Belgium. We have to look after our own little pieces of land.
Yeah,
you can't unify under that pressure. I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot. There's all the, because yes, African leaders are corrupt African leaders who are going to take the side deal over their people. Yes, that's true as well. But I don't know. And not with it. There's others, the other leaders, not just Traore, that are trying to make a change as well. He's not the only one. There's so many.
You have the threat of Trump coming to be like, to start bombing Nigeria.
Yeah, for Chris, like, and all of that. Like, just choosing the narrative, just I don't know. But I just, what I'm hoping and I'm happy for are African and Caribbean leaders saying, not on my watch. More of them need to come up, more of them need to stand up, more vocals and more support for them. That's all we've got at this point. There's more generations of them that think like us, that aren't so happy to just take the West's side deals and are saying that this enough is enough. So I hope that there's more, and I hope they're willing to withstand the storm that will come when they do. Because I think anyone would rather die for that cause than just for gold, for people just fighting over the resource that's not theirs. All right, moving on. So a bit more lighthearted, or is it? If you don't know, a YouTuber called Bouncer has taken to his YouTube channel to expose the people behind the Shade Borough, their Instagram and website, which is known for sharing gossip and culture relating to primarily the UK Black community. It's generally hate love because of its commitment to sharing negative posts that instigate comment wars and pit Black people against each other, especially the old Black men versus Black women narrative. So Bouncer, his journey has been long. I don't know how he started in this industry. Did he start Nanaji? No,
Bouncer started off as a criminal. That's
Okay.
how. So he spent quite a bit of time inside.
So that, yeah, okay.
So he was a bit of a gangster, we could say, kind of street dude. Went inside. I think he did 8 years inside for various different
He did
things.
10. I thought it was 10, but yeah, okay.
It could have been about that. He came out and then he presented himself as like a manager, a music manager, and his most notable artist is Dig That, who at the moment now is probably going to be done for murder. So he's no longer there, but he did have a really big deal. And then he also managed Little Man as well, and he is a dwarf. And then they fell out, and Little Man went about saying that Bouncer basically exploited him and took a whole load of money. And then he was rubbished online and effectively cancelled as somebody who is nefarious and steals from their clients. That's how he came into prominence. And then he also brought boxing matches as well, like the celebrity boxing matches. He was one of the first to do that. So that went on. But then because of the Little Man thing, he was in effect ousted. People weren't trusting him. He wasn't seen as somebody to celebrate in any fashion. And then he created his YouTube channel where every single day he posts about 6 different videos on UK gossip, life, all the gamut, business. Like his videos are so varied. I genuinely am turning into a bit of a Bouncer fan. Like he will cover things and he talks. He's not well read. He just not standard. He gets words wrong, but there's something quite normal but smart, dumb smart, if that's a thing. It's like he makes me laugh, but he's also knowledgeable on stuff as well. So he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, so then on the back of that, he's now on his I'm taking down the industry, and he's talking about the narrative that's been put out there, and it's about specifically being driven by Shade Borough, and it's around a few incidents ranging from Ginger J and his comments about Black women and the backlash towards him, to what's happened with Getz and the way that some people's narratives were shared on the Shade Borough and other narratives weren't. And again, definitely for him saying, well, they led the charge in getting him taken down. Like they shared pictures of his kids and shared pictures of his missus in seemingly just attacking him and getting him out of it. He now doesn't reside in the UK as a result, and all of that, and operates from Dubai, all of that stuff. So he's kind of gone about, said about like, I'm going to take you lot down unless you lot do a public apology. The owners of the Shade Bar are going to be revealed. I'm going to expose them. He's exposing Posty from GRM Daily, and he talks about there being an industry of gatekeepers that are messing up our narrative, basically. It's hard because he's on so many videos, and what I don't want to do, I don't think I want to partake in sharing who the owners of the Shade Borough are, because I just
why?
Okay, well you can. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, but what was your thinking?
My reason is because I don't know how it's all part of the noise. I think it's all part of the noise. It's all part of the noise. I don't know what it is. I haven't worked it out, but it's all part of the noise that I don't want to be a part of. But we are part of the noise because we talk about content. We're part of the culture of commentary. So, but part of me was like, I don't want to be the person to share it, because I think there's a narrative that overall, what has been done to him, which he says has been like devastating to him, to the point where people tell him to kill himself and all that type of stuff, to then get involved in sharing pictures of the is it Helena and Will, who I don't know if I think they're a couple. Who
they are.
Yeah, who own Borough. And then on the back of then sharing their picture to contribute to whoever might be hunting them down to say, do whatever. I don't know if I want to be part of that. There's a democracy here, so I'm not part of the ring. Wilson, relax. Don't say that stupid stuff. And don't be stupid. So yeah, that's how I felt. That's how I personally felt. But I don't know. You guys can talk about it as well.
I think so. With the Shade Borough, obviously the page used to be flipping disgusting.
It was, yeah.
It definitely it felt like there was a team of them would wake up in the morning and you could crash somebody's day.
Yeah.
And they would just pit people against each other. They would find videos where the comment section is going to rip the person a new arsehole, and they would post it. And within that, as their business model evolved, I guess, they decided we're probably going to have to try and clean this up. We can't be clutter because our page keeps on going down. And they started to rebrand and reach out to different voices. And that's how they came along to us when they were working on their YouTube channel to kind of be a part of this new rebranding of Shade Borough. Me and Shay did a show with them for Love Island. So I actually met Will as well. And we was in discussions of doing like another show with them at one point as well. I was always a bit dubious as to where the money came from the Shade Borough. And I really did think funding must be coming in from somebody else. That is all I was thinking, because they had a lot. But most people, the majority of people, every so often would be like, who owns the Shade Borough? I'm sure this is owned by some white person. Like, who owns it? Who owns it? And they went to great lengths to hide their identity and work around in different ways. So Bouncer coming out and exposing them, I guess I haven't been on the end of them destroying anything that I've done.
No.
But lots of people where they have done for many years, I understand where they'd be like, I want to know who your faces are. Because it's for you to put all of my business out there, but you it's not like the Shade Room where you know the woman that owns it.
Yeah.
These guys purposely did not put their names attached to the Shade Borough until maybe 2022.
Yeah.
So for years, nobody knew who they were. So I kind of understand where he's being like, you put my business out there, why can't I put your business
I
out
agree. I agree with him doing.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. That's where I'm at, because I think that if you are going to, and they've posted people's children and all types of things.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you expect to be protected when you are not protecting anybody?
Absolutely.
That's what it's. I'm not praying on a downfall of nobody, but I will say that you reap what you sow. Yeah.
I think that's fair. It's more about us sharing it. Absolutely think Bouncer has every right to share it. And it's about the general, he has absolute right to take. He said they shared his kids. They said they blurred out his kids' faces, but they shared his missus as well. And it was all contribution. It'd be interesting to understand what I wonder. Yes, hide your identity, because I understand why you lot did it, because you know you're putting out nonsense and people will come for you. And the UK is smaller, so small, to the point where even some of the content that I like, we don't do gossip at all, but maybe even reviews of certain people's projects, we have to take a minute and think about on my platform, because like that we will bump into that person down the road and just be like, whether or not, even if it's a heated debate or a heated discussion, you could get into it with someone because people are quite sensitive. So I absolutely understand why they did it, why they hid themselves. It's not right. It's not, as far as I'm concerned, stand on business and own your shit that you're going to do. Don't hide and then continue to do what you're doing. But they have kind of tidied it up. So I would love to know their mindset now, what they're thinking, where they're at with the Shade Borough, because apparently they're losing money as well. They're not getting as much money as before because gossip sells, and being righteous doesn't. I guess. I don't know what your thoughts are on the pivot, and if you think they're committed to being different, even though this is happening now.
From what I've seen, they definitely tidied up the page a little bit. It's not as sensational as it used to be.
No, it's not
at all. It's definitely got a little bit better. But they still, I don't know. There'd still be some people that if you're seeing a lot of their posts, it is generally divisive and they are trying to pit Black folks against each other. That's still there. That still gets people commenting. I get it within the algorithm. I think it isn't as bad as it was, and they probably could present themselves as we own it now. I actually think they do that. And he's exposed them, so you should just come out and be like, look, we're the owners of it. This is what we do. We're cleaning it up. You could spin it that way in some way, shape, or form.
What do you think about the whole gatekeeper of the industry narrative and shaping a narrative? Do you think that the guys behind Shea Borough and platforms like that, there's a bunch, I'm going to say a bunch of people, a bunch of platforms that talk about the culture. We're included in that. We pride ourselves on not trying to do sensationalism, but there are still sensationalist topics that we will react to and share our commentary on. So there are a bunch of platforms that talk about the culture in various ways. Do you think that there's been a controlled attempt to shape the narrative and stoke negativity, or is it human reaction to gossip and nonsense? There's also knowing that there's monetary gain for talking about nonsense, and there's also I say just in quotes because I'm, like I said, conscious effort not to get involved in gossip on my platform on purpose because I don't like it. But that is there a thing where, in quotes, just gossip and it is what people do? Where do you think there's a control to have that out there, or it's just humans doing human stuff?
No, they shape what is spoken about. It's all going on. There are lots of stories that you can see that pop up on TikTok where they get a lot of stuff from, on X, that they purposely do not share. There is stuff that we have spoken about that could absolutely, with their amplification, could help lots of different families, could stoke lots of different discussions, which they purposefully do not post because it's not feeding into a narrative of Black man bad or Black woman bad, or they specifically pick the things that they are going to amplify. That goes on a lot of them, and you can see the pages that generally don't do that or will put out different narratives like NG Bats, where they can put something the same as Shea Borough, but they will follow on stories in lots of different ways. They don't get the same amplification as that. Now, I don't know if it's just people's eyes or marketing budgets. Like, there are lots of different ways that you can get in front of people if you've got a bit of money. And I do think that Shea Borough does push an agenda, definitely. I think that GRM Daily does the same as well. They will put forward artists that specifically do certain things that have budgets to pay for it as well, that are affiliated with labels. I don't think it's mad what Bouncer was saying, that there is a ring. There is a ring of influence, most definitely. We see them at all the same places. That happens. It's a part of human societies, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's how it grows. So no, I don't think he's chatting shit on that. I think it's very, very much real. But what he's doing is you do your independent media, and people that want to watch it will come along and watch you. Like, that's all you can do, really.
Yeah, I wasn't saying he was chatting shit. I was just thinking it was more about, is there the shaping of the narrative? Is it a controlled thing to purposely drive a wedge? Sorry, look, go on.
I think so. I think what Nana said is that their page has cleaned up quite a bit, but they definitely used to post things like, look at this here. Oh, this person said this, because they want to get a reaction out of you. They want people to war in the comments. They've definitely done that, because a lot of times you'll see people in the comments saying, well, what are you posting this for? What does it even mean? What are you trying to promote? People say that all the time because they're trying to promote negativity. So, I think it's not by chance because of the way that they frame it. the way they frame them, have the picture and then the caption. It's they're trying to get reaction out of you.
Kaseko, girl, person, I can't say your name. You always kill me with this. Kaseko Yama. Thank you so much. Hi, aunties. Did you hear about this US content creator called O'Shea Duke Jackson living in Uganda, instigating diaspora wars with his Afrophobia videos? I mean, we know that
he lives in Uganda.
Thank you for that.
Oh wow! Thank you. I do know who O'Shea Duke Jackson is, and his videos are absolute shit. Terrible.
Oh, him. Oh, yeah. No, not.
Yeah, I didn't know that he lived in Uganda, though. That's why.
Imagine that. and I think it's more like, because I'm Shea Borough. I still don't understand how they've got away with Shea Borough and Shea Room. Have they got a deal with the Shade Room? Are they made an agreement? There must be some sort of copyright brand of something that they're allowed to operate as the Shea Borough. I don't know how they got away with that for so long. And then
it's not the same name, is it?
No, but it's a brand. It's still a.
But there's lots of things like that out there. There's people that have got similar names to the British Blacklist.
I'm just asking because the Shade Room. So I'm just wondering how they've managed to go for so long, because it's just a different color, but it's still the same branding style and everything. So that's a bit more than having a similar name. That's like doing the same thing called the Shade something. I'm just interested to know how they've been able to not run into any kind of, unless they've got. I always thought maybe they were an affiliate or they had an affiliation agreement or something.
I don't think so. I feel like I have spoken about this. But I think no, they don't have anything. And if I remember correctly, early days, it wasn't seamless because they lost their page a lot of times.
They have
different people coming after their page. I think early days that was one of the issues. And then they had to change things a little bit because they basically ripped off exactly the same logo.
That's what.
Well, and they changed little bits and pieces, but it still came to prominence because for a long time you couldn't tell the difference. Sometimes you'd even think you was on the Shade Room with how they had copied. Back in the early times of Instagram, they copied the page so much, but they have tried to separate themselves
exactly
from that.
Thank you, Stephanie Morgan. Thank you very much, and thank you, Rochelle. One aunties could never membership. Well done. Happy Sunday. It's tithing time, guys. Get your hands in your pockets so we can keep
it.
That's what I was thinking, and also it is that you would definitely. I can imagine they were like, we need the UK version of the Shade Room.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then you know that the Shade Room and the Shade Room went through the same troubles. They also went through the same. This is way too much. You're pitting black people against each other. We don't need this. And then they were probably inspired by the National Enquirer, the white magazine, the general. And then over here we had whatever. I can't remember what our UK version, or the Sun, for example. At the end of the day. So there's always a reference point to gossip. So that's the part where it's like it spirals out of control because gossip sells, but gossip is not a fact. Gossip is rumors, and rumors can cause lots of harm. And I wonder where it got to the point where they realized, like, shit, we're making money on this. People are coming for us, but we're making money on this. And how do we stop? How do we?
It was corporate deals.
Yeah.
So basically, they wanted to actually go for full-on activations, corporate deals. Like, so we wouldn't necessarily be able to tell that it's like Nike lifestyle stuff. Like, they wanted to incorporate that, but the page was so toxic.
Yeah.
Corporations and brands didn't want to associate with the Shade Borough. So then the types of adverts that are coming in are shit adverts, isn't it? It's going to be like smaller brands. Like, you're not going to get more than £500 out of like a small business. Whereas with a big business, you could get tens of thousands out of them. And that was them trying to do the pivot out of the sensational stuff as well. They may have done it. I don't know. They could be making money.
Thank you, Cracky J. No, Cracky J. Thank you for your Sunday typology. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
you. Come on, guys. We know that there's a lot of Americans in here, and you guys are used to this.
Welcome. You know,
join in tithing.
The plate is out.
So when is gossip okay? When is gossip okay? Because we cannot pretend we're not partial to a little bit of gossip. I what kind of gossip don't I like? I don't really, to be honest, I don't really like gossip, but
we don't like gossip that is malicious and can hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that simple. I don't have the. I don't think I have the judgment scape that you can have on gossip, but I have the same morality around gossip that you do, and I think that's the thing. It's like with any situation that is out there that people are talking about, there is learning that can come from that.
Yeah,
in every single way, and that's why I do generally like reality TV as well. It has people's attention, and you can spin it around so that whatever the situation is, you can actually turn it into real life and how you can be better. I think that's where you use people's interactions. We're people at the end of the day, and we're communal. We like that. So gossip where you're not setting folks up to fight each other, which is what some pages can do. Like you can really set people upon somebody like, oh, you're really bad. And it's like nobody is wholly evil in any way, shape, or form. People can do shit things and they can still be a good person to somebody else. Like we're not one way or the other. And I think sometimes you just need a nuanced voice that's speaking in those places as well. And I think that's what we can provide with the aunties. So even if it's a viral, sensational thing that has come on, our conversation isn't going to be booting somebody when they're down. We're going to give the nuance of a situation. I think that's slightly different. And that's what those pages don't do, because you don't have a voice.
Yeah.
Your voice is a caption, and your caption you want people to click on. So, sometimes, but there's ways you can do it.
Thank you, Stephen Ochog, 1707. The Tatler is a correct reference point. Yes, the Tatler, but we don't have the Times FT Guardian equivalent. How did that happen? Well, we don't have the physical. But as Nana said, we have platforms that do talk. We have there's a guy. What's the guy who does financial conversations? There's another guy, Nova Media. He's all about getting into the news of it all, and he's a black man. So, and then your aunties could never definitely, and your news and nonsense. Us again doing news and nonsense. So there are. Not maybe the physical versions of the Guardian and things like that, but there definitely are more talking heads in the black spaces that are trying to get away from the gossips and give us facts and information about what's going on in the world. So I think there's room for it all, but it's about being really cognizant about that you're not tearing someone down and risking their lives. And aside from whether you like Ginger J or not, him saying he's been told to unalive himself, Bouncer saying he's experienced being told to unalive himself. What was interesting about what Bouncer was doing, because he's also coming for everyone else that's spoken about him. And this is sensitive water because we are friends with one of the people that he talks about quite often. But saying things about her, and I don't know if she's ever mentioned, and I haven't gone through the backstory, so I haven't watched all the content relating to Bouncer. I switched off quite quickly after all that Little Man stuff.
That's an interesting.
I don't know if ZZ actually ever mentioned his name or anything like that. So the spin on him calling out what he assumes is her recreational pastimes in cussing her out when the video that she shared wasn't dissing him, was just more conversation. That's the part when you're doing similar things, and because that's an opening, one exposing something that whether it's true or not, that's her business. But then why are you exposing her? Because then her views are her views, whether she is anti-man or not, or even I don't agree with Lynn May's. I don't know her to say I can't stand her, but I don't like what she puts out there. Her and then Esther. There's all these commentators that aren't saying what you say or you don't agree with, but then you're speaking about them in the way that's similar to what you said that you experienced. So that's where it starts to become a bit problematic. And I know people say that about the auntie. Sometimes we get, oh, you lot just hate men and da 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 da. So speaking from a women's,
go on.
I was just going to say, speaking from a women's perspective or whatever, from a perspective that you live in, and you might have a one-sided view or a bit of a lean view to something, and you don't agree. There's all of that. So it's just interesting, like how you call people out, hold people accountable, get your just desserts, just justice, but then don't end up doing the same thing that you're calling people out about. It's a bit of a mad.
Yeah.
What he has said and put out there about ZZ, I have not seen her do the same about him.
Right.
Now, I don't know if past ways. All I can put it to is the interview that was done with Little Man was on +44. And ZZ was the host.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's why he has a beef. But personal stuff. And that interview, she actually seemed very skeptical on everything that Little Man was saying. So I don't know why he has decided I'm targeting her, or I'm going to put out info that I know, I think I know, or people have told me about her. I'm putting that out there about her. I'm not sure, but I do think that is fuckeries.
It's fuckery because what she doesn't do, she doesn't come out and start talking about people's business like that. She talks about things that
he says he has a moral code. He is always like, I'm a Muslim man, I have a moral code. I just think as a Muslim man to be attacking a black woman is unnecessary. Like,
yeah,
you don't need to do that. There are other people, heaps of them, that come after black women that use their voices to speak. That is beyond anybody else talking. She gets a lot of pressure. So It's like, you can condemn her for doing that chat with Little Man, but really putting her business out there, I think that's low. That's low. That doesn't sit well with me at all.
Yeah, it contradicts. And I think, and also the conversation around Gets as well, and with the vlogger Esther, and what Zizi was saying about people being quite excited on Gets' downfall and stuff like that. I mean, there's a world out there. There are people who, as what happened, I think, as we said, when you know them or kind of are a fan of them in a way that they seem unproblematic, and then this is quite a shocking, it's a very shocking thing to happen to someone that you, again, as a black community of people who are rooting for us to do well in every aspect, someone that you're like, you're on such a great path, and then something as disgusting and terrible as this to happen to them. And we do have this new outpouring where we outpour to the public on our platforms. We're processing it. So there's going to be an initial shit, damn, shock, forget. Also, all of you people running to the comments to come and talk and say what you don't know, cussing people who are either going into court, cussing people for speculating, all of the stuff, people are collectively doing that to target in on, say, and that's where he was saying that's the Shea Borough are only posting that narrative. They're not posting anything condemning Gets. They're posting people not defending him, but calling out the people who are excited or gossiping about or talking about Gets' situation. I don't know. It's a bit of a mad one, but he's saying that Shea Borough is steering that narrative in favor of Gets, rather than calling him out for what exactly he did. And he's using Esther and Zizi as voices that did that. That's what he said. And then he did give Esther point. He goes, look, I like what you're doing. You want me to come on? Like it's funny because it's like he's trying to navigate his hypocrisies in real time. Yeah. Calling out Esther, but at the same time, girl, do your thing. Just don't get involved in this conversation. And then calling out, I don't know. It's a bit of a mad one anyway. So, yeah, we'll see. Yes, Zizi does get a lot of criticism. I mean, you know, it's not even just Zizi. Lots of people get criticism. People are going to criticize. It is what it is.
We do, because the thing is, even if you are in plain sight showing the two sides of a story, people are just going to fixate on one thing. You know, like the rhetoric about we hate men. We equally talk about good men. We have good men on the pod. We talk about this all the time. But if you want to just present us as black women who hate men, then that's what you're going to do.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, you'll be able to find enough instances where you could be like, they were calling out that man. Why did they? And it's like, okay, but when we're calling out a whole load of women, nobody says shit. We could have a whole episode where it's back-to-back stories of calling out women, and not one comment will say that was really heavy. You took down a lot of women this episode. Nobody will say nothing.
No.
Two stories on men. And everybody will come out and be like, "Oh my god, this is Miss Andre."
Yeah, it happens. It happens. But anyway, you know what, Shea Borough, what they should do is stand up in front and say, "Yeah, this is us. This is our journey. This is who we were. This is who we're trying to be." Get behind, because the thing is, black people are very forgiving.
Yeah, if that, it is that, definitely.
All righty. Any more comments before we move on? Other than that, we can go on to. So this is maybe it's a quick one. There's no rap songs in the Billboard Top 40 for the first time in 35 years. And for the first time since 1980, no hip hop tracks appear in the Billboard Hot 100's Top 40, marking a significant moment in music history. Kendrick Lamar and Sithers Luther, which topped the chart for 13 weeks, dropped out of the Top 40 on 25th of October 2025, officially ending a 35-year streak. Now, there's lots of kind of hypotheses, and I immediately, with that, before even sorry, before even getting into it and digging into it, I immediately said, well, look, it's the lack of quality hip hop and all this stuff, and we haven't got power. And so I don't know. I mean, I haven't been able to go into all of it and all the kind of reasonings, but it's an interesting time where the most dominant music isn't dominating the charts for the first time in many years. Rob Markman had a kind of an opinion on it. He's a hip hop kind of vlogger who talks about these type of things. He said there's nothing to worry about. Did you guys hear about it? Have any thoughts on it before getting into it?
Don't get into it because I have no idea.
It's all about the algorithm because it was like everyone else about it. All right, it might be a quick one that we get into. Why is it taking long to buffer?
To see the staying power that this album has, regardless it is Taylor Swift, and all 12 of those songs from her album are in the top 40. That means that there's no room for 12 other songs to be in the top 40. It says the lack of rap songs in the Hot 100's top 40 is the latest sign of a recent dip in rap's commercial dominance. Hip hop's overall market share reached a peak in 2020 when it neared 30%. That has slipped to just over 25% in 2023 and has been at 24% so far in 2025 through the week of October 23rd. In the Hot 100 chart for the equivalent chart week 5 years ago, a whopping 16 of the top 40 were rap songs, while in the equivalent chart 2 years ago, there were 8 rap songs in the top 40. It is worth noting that the rap world is currently, let me just say this too, a bit of rage bait going on. Like they know this headline is going to cause rage as well. It's going to get people talking, man. So there's a bit of that going on too. It is worth noting that the rap world is currently in a bit of an in-between moment with some of his biggest names. Drake, the biggest chart mainstay of the past 15 years and the artist with the most Hot 100 hits of all time, has not yet released his much-anticipated Iceman album, while his 2024 foe Lamar is finally somewhat dormant following an 18-month period of cultural and commercial dominance. However, the last few months have not been totally without big rap releases. Both Cardi B and Big X The Plug have released new albums since August, and even without a new album, Drake has released a steady stream of new singles since announcing the album in July. So they're saying like, Drake hasn't released Iceman, but Drake has been. What did I miss? Which one was Central C? Drake has been dropping singles. They just haven't been sticking to the chart. Luther is also the most recent rap song to appear in the Hot 100's top 10, last doing so on the chart dated August 2nd. You know how that record made people feel? You know what that record stood for people? Off of Forest Hills Drive, right? Classic album. Love Yours was in top 40.
So basically, he goes on to say that we shouldn't be fearful because it's caused a little bit of race baiting and rage wars. People are talking about, oh my God, hip hop's dying. We haven't got power. The systems are against us, things like that. And he's saying, look, there are so many tunes that didn't make the top 40 and still are powerful today. And things like Shook Ones, things like J. Cole's tune. There's a couple of J. Cole's tunes that he mentions. If you guys haven't heard about it, I was just thinking what your thoughts were, but it's just in my world, there's a lot of people talking about it and possibly, I don't know, thinking that this is a decline of hip hop. Hip hop no longer has the dominance that it used to. And especially for me, it's especially at the time where we're getting more right-wing nationalism and this pushback against culture and ethnicity, black culture or ethnic culture, non-white ethnic culture. And it's interesting if this is a marking shift or if it is just, don't worry about it. It's just a moment, because also Billboard have changed their rules where they have stricter rules to prevent songs from staying on the Hot 100 for years. Now tracks will be removed if they fall below number 5 after 78 weeks, below number 10 after 52 weeks, and below number 25 after 26 weeks, or below number 50 after 20 weeks. The changes aim to stop streaming doom loops that keep older hits on the chart for too long, though Billboard may make exceptions in special cases. So, again, I don't know what your thoughts are on that at all.
I don't think people should be worried for now. I don't think hip hop's dead. Yeah. They always change the rules when a dominant force is coming, don't they? They always do that. And Taylor Swift's had her album out. She's like all over the flipping chart with her shit album. I just think it happens. It's okay. What's interesting is the time that they're saying, like, in the last 40 years. That's interesting. But then I suppose you have to look at who has released stuff. I don't know. I don't. In my circle, hip hop's not dead. We still hear it. There's still great albums coming out.
Yeah. Music goes through cycles. So I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, actually, because then the real stuff will start to get amplified in some ways, and people's attentions will go for really searching for real music again. So I don't mind this as a change in a wave. Maybe this is actually good for us as the Black diaspora, that you actually think of other ways that are transformative to our community when music goes. Maybe this will heighten people's creativity to create something new, to build something else that isn't steeped in a form of music that made other communities super wealthy and have power. Like, maybe this is our chance to really work on what our next creative move is going to be, and maybe this time we're going to be smarter, so that the people that are the movers and shakers, you know about IP, you create different business models, you share different forms of information, so other communities don't come and use us again. Maybe this is the moment to transform.
That's where I was going with it. Thank you, Stephen Chug 1707 for. Yes, thank you, aunties, for your voices. Thank you. We appreciate you for thanking us for our voices, and someone else has given us a little something. Thank you, Will Smith. Go to a lot of songs aren't very good, is all it is. I mean, there's also that. And maybe people are tired of maybe the same one, because I as much as I love some of the ladies, I'm just like, I'm tired of the narratives. I think the other day I was out and I was watching. There was a channel that was playing all the lady videos, and it was all seamlessly rolling into lots of bum shakings and talking about their bums. And I know we have grown up with men talking about their dicks, but there was also a range. During the 90s, there was a range, and early 2000s, there's a range of hip hop. You could get your booty shaking hip hop, you can get your gangster hip hop, you can get your righteous hip hop. There was a lot more of a wider spread of styles. Right now, it's with drug music, with one or two anomalies like the Kendricks and the J. Coles. Then the rest is like drug music or wet pussy music, and it's like, there's not enough of a prominent range. Back in the day, you had a bit more variety. You could actually get, fulfilled in all aspects of your human character, of what you want and what you didn't want.
Definitely. And they were really successful and not necessarily like niche. Like, just, now it feels like when you see somebody who's really good, they are kind of good on socials, but it doesn't translate to charts in any way. Like, can you imagine now? I don't know, because even like Little Sims, she's popular and everything, but Little Sims, for how talented she is, should be huge, megastar. But it's like, to get to that, I don't know if she will in this climate. I'm just glad that she's able to eat, sustain herself, and her music is being released and it's out there. But you need a few more of her. There should be a good 10 names that I should be able to say quickly, who are sustaining, who have careers, who are super successful, and there's just not that many.
But this is what's interesting, though, about how people are put out there, because how they're publicized. Because you would think that Little Sims should be bigger, like you said, but bigger how? Because I recently watched someone and he was talking about, he went to a Little Sims concert and her concerts sell out. She's doing like arenas, they're selling out. She's like on global tours, selling out. But to the public, in the public eye, she isn't that big, because she's not being pushed in the same way that some of these bum shakers are being pushed. But she's absolutely huge. She has a huge following. Like you said, she's able to eat, but just not eat. She's eating very well, because of how much she's achieving.
Thank you. Oh, gosh, a second. Can you give me a phonetic way to say your handle, please?
He said it's Kevin. He said it's Kevin.
Oh, it's Kevin. Kevin. Yeah. So I keep saying I missed that part. Kevin, Ryan Proctor's hip hop page shows. It's Kevin here. Ryan Proctor's hip hop page shows mature hip hop is out there and hip hop will never die. It will never die it's just what's been pushed in our faces. It will never die. Absolutely not. Don G3879, not Black American, speaking on hip hop. This ain't my head. This shit is what we're talking about.
Oh, fuck off.
And I just want to be like, hip hop is global, and you're not, and the roots of hip hop.
What did you wait? Sorry, did you wait 2 hours and 9 minutes for us to talk about South American so you can say that we spoke about South American? Seriously, do one. If you don't like it in here, come out, innit? Because what are you doing in here? Come out.
It's just, well, yeah, it's just the stupidity of what you're saying, because at the end of the day, it is a global thing started by Black people, and their roots of it, you trace back the roots, are in Africa, in the Caribbean. You like, guys, relax.
And they take their music globally. We're not here saying it's ours. Calm down. We're saying we appreciate it. Calm down. We're saying it's not dead. Calm down.
It affects us. It affects us as well.
I swear, the thing is, Donkey, he's been talking about all sorts of things. You've actually been contributing to the chat. He most definitely, I believe it's a he, because it usually is he's. You've been in here just waiting for America, like one American story. He's probably been on the edge of his seat just there. Like, oh, well, they're getting America. Oh, we're gonna go to America.
Message out, ready to hit send. Like, relax.
What I was gonna say is that what artists have been doing is like not focusing on their core audience and looking at the TikTok world and trying to make those catchy songs that suit a little clip of a video, when actually, who are you as a rapper? What is the culture? What are the roots and real roots of hip hop? You don't have to be righteous, but you can at least, who is your audience? Who really likes hip hop? Because the hip hop audience has gone global, and so you're trying to appeal to a bunch of people that don't understand who we are, where we're from. That's what Rob Martin was saying as well. It's like you're talking to an audience that don't give a fuck about us. They don't want to wear our pain. They want to know about our pain. They just want to dance and keep dancing, waving their hands and having fun. Stop appealing to them. Concentrate on your greatness and the talent that you have, because no matter what, as he was saying, there are tunes that stand the test of time that didn't make the top 40 that we revere as hip-hop classics. There's a bunch from Jay-Z, from J. Cole, from even Kendrick's got, and Drake have got tracks that didn't make the top 40, but they're tunes that we still play today from back in that day. So, like, you know, it is about that cultural resetting. There's a whole thing about the Great Reset in the wider scheme and in the cultural reset. Yeah, it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens with everything. You know, when spiritually people are talking about moving into different times and different timelines and different ways that things are going to be presented, a lot of things that we know to be true, it's already started. It's just changed. It's not the way it was. And music, especially hip hop, rap, whatever, the different subgenres, the dominance on popular music, it always has a time and it goes again. We just have to think of how we are creative in lots of other ways that we can sustain still our creativity and it makes money. That's all we got to be thinking about, how that changes.
Comments will comment.
Are they out in
the FBAs are here. Yay! Welcome to the FBAs.
FBAs have descended. Is there a dog? Is there a group?
Literally.
Is there a group chat?
Literally. There is.
Welcome.
They said it. Get them. Get them. Get them. It's been over 2 hours and they didn't say it, but they said it now. Get them. I don't even know what they're talking about, but get them. Get them. Get them. Seriously.
It was dropped in a group chat somewhere, wasn't it?
It's sad. Absolutely sad.
You lot are so crazy. All of you are crazy. Like, it's just crazy. It is what it is. Do your thing, innit? Do your thing. At the end of the day, you lot are crazy. You're actually crazy. It's actually hilarious. You lot, when you're sitting there, you lot seething and shaking like.
I'm telling you, they're sat there with the message typed out ready. Go.
Anyway, moving on. This is going to piss you off as well, because we've got, unfortunately, the Hurricane Melissa that's devastated Jamaica and is moving through the Caribbean.
Just Jamaica, Haiti as well. Like Haiti.
I just said it's devastating.
No, I know, but sorry. I just want to point this out. I know you're going to get into it, but I just want to point it out because there was a lot of talk about Jamaica and it has been absolutely devastated. But equally, it's moving through the Caribbean, but it hit Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba all at the same time, devastating those places. Like it's awful what's happening.
Yes, it is. And a slice of that, as we're looking at recovery and trying to send aid and rebuild the islands that have been devastated. There was one particular video that went viral. Saw some tourists that were stranded at a Montego Bay resort in Jamaica. And they went viral after berating hotel staff over food service in the storm's aftermath. The video showing guests shouting at workers over disrespectful pastries and bagged meals has sparked widespread backlash online. This video that I found is a guy talking about it. So bear with me because I haven't watched it all the way through.
Has just experienced one of its worst storms and disasters in recent years, leaving major destruction behind after Hurricane Melissa would pass through the Love Island on Tuesday. According to the BBC, at its peak, the hurricane sustained winds of 185 miles per hour, stronger than Hurricane Katrina, which devastated New Orleans in 2005 and killed 1,392 people. For many Jamaicans, this would become a time of survival and preparing for the road ahead to rebuild their country. As you should know, not only Jamaicans are experiencing this unfortunate event, but so are the many tourists who travel to the island for relaxation and good weather. According to reports, nearly 4.1 million tourists travel to the islands every year. According to some of the tourists who would decide to travel to Jamaica during this hurricane season, their time on resorts across the island has become unenjoyable while still having to pay full price for their accommodations. Their now viral complaints would be shared across social media and has caused many reactions online.
So why did we leave when y'all feeding us pastries for breakfast and we still had to pay full price?
May I ask where you're going now?
We're going to get something to eat.
Everything closed across. Gas station, shopping mall, everything closed.
So what are y'all doing for gas? You all knew this storm was coming. So you gonna give us bag lunches, bag breakfast, some pastries? That's so good.
This is the emergency food for us for 4 days. This is really unimaginable experience. Makes me never want a Trina.
This must be breakfast. This is crazy.
We got our pillows and blankets. We knocking on all the doors. On our way to the shelter. So if y'all have a second floor, why can't we go to the second floor?
Because it's full of all places, including the one that's underground.
So if it was to flood in here, what do we do?
There's no if there. It's not going to be flooded.
And then you want to charge $1,100, $1,200 for a one-way ticket to get up out of here, knowing there's a Category 4 hurricane headed our way.
Now, after these complaints would begin to circulate, it appears that people who would view these tourists expecting 5-star service during a hurricane would call out the tourists themselves. Several Jamaicans would also share a clear message to the tourists complaining, which is to shut up and stop complaining.
I'm gonna need for the Americans that's in Jamaica right now during Hurricane Melissa to just pipe the fuck down. Stop being so damn insensitive. We get it. You booked a vacation to Jamaica. You can't get a refund. Whatever the case may be, you had to still go. Please stop making light of Hurricane Melissa. I'm from the city of the New Orleans who experiences hurricanes quite often. The insensitivity of some of y'all is fucking outrageous and ridiculous. You're gonna come back to the US to your warm, cozy, beautiful house, and some of these people are gonna be without. So please, if you're on vacation and you're stuck on vacation in Jamaica, make the best of whatever you can. Stop making light of the situation, especially because of those locals that's out there serving y'all drinks, serving y'all food, while they have to worry about their family.
He doesn't have copyright affiliate on his channel, so we can't. I'll have to swap that out with something else.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. All right, cool. Okay. Yeah. Wild.
Yeah. I'm very, very surprised. I get the moaning. People are going to moan. Like, I can understand that. I don't understand why they were posting the videos of their moaning online. That's where I'm like, what's going on with people? I can understand when you're in there and maybe you feel like there are resources that aren't being shared out. I don't know. I don't know why you would think that within a hurricane that they are still going to be able to provide you with a breakfast and dinner you don't even know if these people haven't lost family members.
Yeah.
That they all didn't leave their jobs and go about their business to save their houses. I'm still at a loss as to that. But you complained, but you filmed it and thought, let me put that online. What were you expecting? People to be cussing them?
Yes, they were. That's exactly what they were expecting. Oh, I wish I could find the guy, the British guy, who sums it up beautifully. But that's exactly what they were expecting. They were expecting Jamaicans to go in there and still cook them oxtail and rice and peas. You know,
weird. It was a weird kind of
Category 5 hurricane.
Yeah.
You're lucky to be in a place that's actually quite safe. There are people around who don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
There are people who don't have food, be it in a bag or whatever. They are. I've seen images of people who are starving because they haven't had food. There's no food around them. They've got no amenities, no electricity, no nothing.
Right.
You're in a hotel being served by people. On the flip side of that, though, I did see some tourists who were actually really helping out and helping to get the hotels back up to scratch. You know, they were all chipping in. I've seen a lot more of that. I don't know if that's because people are posting that now as a counter to the negativity that was out there as well. But you know,
and we're not just saying it's all America. It's not all. It's just a few entitled people that just really misplaced their understanding of empathy. Because as you said, there are other tourists who are chipping in and mucking in. That's all we can ask for. I also think it's very strange to post it. I don't know what reaction you thought you could get, or how you think you come across. Like, that's wild, absolutely wild. Like, you got bad
money. I didn't get even but we're still paying full price. Surely you would have paid for your holiday. So depending on what your insurance is, like, they're not.
I was about to say, like,
what do you do what? So now they should, in this moment, should be like, you know what, we're going to give you a refund now. Like, bro, deal with that with your insurance company.
Like you said, it's the insurance companies, and anything that you spend during this time is going to be, you can claim that back from your insurance company.
I think it's actually crazy. And also, you are there in hurricane season. Yes, Jamaica hasn't been hit with a hurricane like this in many a year, but still, it's a dangerous time to travel. So it's generally going to be a little bit cheaper anyway. And to be complaining about, oh, it's going to cost me like $1,000 to leave before the hurricane comes. Of course, travel companies are going to do that shit. This is what they do. It's demand. Like, I don't get the level of moaning. I don't know.
And that's not Jamaica's fault, by the way.
You know, where you're just like, I don't understand. My friend was actually there with her family and her husband, and they were staying in Lucy, and it wasn't hit too much. Like, they got the really bad weather, but the eye of the storm didn't descend on that part of Jamaica. But still, she put up videos the whole morning. The morning after, they all went out. Lots of the residents were out there picking up all the debris, sorting out the chair areas, like really being like, obviously there's not a lot of staff and you don't know who they've lost. So they're out there as a community being like, we got to help. This is our environment now, isn't it? We're here until we can leave the island. Let's at least make our area as nice as it can be. They're out there with their brooms doing work. And it's like, that's human spirit. That's what I would expect. I wouldn't expect you harassing staff members about, all you're going to give us is sandwiches in a bag.
So what are you going to do for guests? What are you going to do? I'm going to keep you alive. That's what I'm going to do.
Man, this is crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. And to be, then whoever's going on in the comments, but it's like, it doesn't actually matter where they're from. The fact that anyone is acting entitled during that moment is just wrong. It doesn't matter where the fuck you're from. There's just no need for it. And exactly that.
Because you get to go home.
You're right, exactly. All right, moving on.
Your life.
And also, yes, I mean, you know, I when I get a second and share some relief links, if you want to share and send money and stuff like that. I think someone in the comments said they work in construction and they're going to go and help rebuild. So where you can help, and whichever island devastated, just extend your help and your support where you can.
There's information there about how you can share. Beware of scammers out there as well, because I think there was like 48 reported. So just go down the proper channels. We'll post some links as well where you can share, where you can donate.
Yeah. You know what? Also, I did see, I think Elaine did it, but a couple of people were really complaining about how much the British were donating.
And then a footballer,
And
Mbappe, that's it.
Mbappe gave more than most governments.
Yeah,
actually.
He did.
But I wasn't mad at this, honestly. That I don't like that we want independence, but also in times of crisis, you want to take shit from the UK or the USA, because it's not, they don't just give freely. You're going to have to give them something back. They're going to take some type of resource, or they're going to put prisoners there. Like, there's always something. So I didn't really like that there were so many people being like, oh, what, just 3.2 million? Like, dude, maybe that's all that the Jamaican authorities were like, for this amount of money, and we're going to give you this. This is how much.
We're not going to get into bed with you for this. Maybe it's that, we don't know.
Yeah.
But I suppose
they're going to give you $1 billion. The island is back theirs. Like,
that part, we don't know what the deal is. We really don't know the ins and out of it. But I suppose for me, what's annoying is the fact that the Caribbean islands and not only the Caribbean islands, like a lot of places that are suffering from these natural disasters are not the ones that are fucking doing the global warming. We're not the ones that are doing all of the part. And that is the part that people forget when these tragedies happened. We spoke about it last year when it was Hurricane Beryl in Grenada, and the Prime Minister came out and he mentioned it then. It is the smaller countries in the Southern Hemisphere that are being done dirty as a result of all the Western countries pillaging the fucking earth.
Alrighty, yes.
Companies should have to pay, most definitely. Like, you see that lady that listed all of the CEOs from the various different companies.
That she was saying that the hurricanes rather than
they are the ones that should be fined, and they have to pay the governments, and that's how it goes. Because then, as a company, you can't then be like, look, then you guys have got to give me this, because you haven't got the might of any type of army to back it up. That's how we should be redistributing wealth.
Exactly.
Paying for the crimes against other islands. Like, that should be how it's sorted out, most definitely.
Okay. Geeky Love 3603 saying, I hope I'm wrong, lady, but I believe the Mbappe donation is a rumor. Probably not true. I've been looking at sources and I cannot find credible ones. 20 mil is a lot even for him. I did think 20 mil was a lot, but just we'll figure it out. And
I saw it as a headline, but I was like, if he wants to, like, I don't know how much any footballer has got, or who knows. But if somebody who has great amounts of wealth and you are going to donate properly without wanting anything back, we should expect that of, especially the billionaires. We should expect them to do that.
They should have to give back a percentage during any natural disaster. That's what I think. They should have to.
Right.
All right. Moving on to UK homes still plagued by mold despite new law sparked by toddler's death. 5 years after the death of 2-year-old Awab Ishak from mold exposure in Rochdale, millions of UK homes remain dangerously damp. Awab's law, which came into effect this week, forces social landlords to fix mold within strict timeframes, but private renters, who make up a large share of those affected, are still excluded. Let's share. Wrong one. Here we go.
The period of 2-3 years, it's become this, where both two ceilings have collapsed.
And as we're talking, I can see the water's dripping between us.
Takesha Thomas has told us about the appalling conditions in the flat she shares with her 14-year-old daughter once before. Back in 2021, my colleague Dan Hewitt visited her home in East London.
This is my staircase.
The conditions are barely believable and totally unlivable.
4 years on, and the damp and the mould and the leaks are all still there. The damage now so bad that the kitchen and the living room can't be lived in. Takesha's local authority ignores her complaints, she says, and her misery continues.
Being confined to the bedrooms, not having space to manoeuvre, damp feet, damp socks, damaged belongings. It's actually such a headache.
The legislation will mean social housing landlords must comply with new rules. They'll have to fix hazards classed as an emergency, within 24 hours of reporting. Significant cases of damp and mould must be investigated within 10 working days, with a further 5 days to make properties safe. If that can't be done, alternative accommodation must be provided for vulnerable tenants, including children and those with health conditions. The laws come into force in the name of this 2-year-old boy. Awab Ishak died from a respiratory condition caused by exposure to mould in his family's housing association flat in Rochdale.
The last 5 years was without him is really hard for us, and we struggle a lot, and at least it changes something for another generation or another people to save another people's life.
The new rules don't apply to the 4.5 million households in England which are privately rented. They will eventually, says the government.
Are you happier now?
Yeah. Today, the housing minister was visiting a family recently moved back into their social housing after having their mould problem fixed.
Well, if landlords don't meet the requirements of the new legislation, they'll find themselves in the dock in court, and they could face enforcement action or a fine.
The new laws are ambitious, and they would represent a revolution in the kind of response times that so many social housing tenants have had to get used to. There is also a question, though, about their relationship with a cash-strapped and very often bankrupt reality across the local government sector.
It's a lot, sorry.
Takesha's local authority told us today that they're aware of her case and they're trying to improve their service, but it is not some quick fix. Speed may be of the essence with Awab's law, but long waits for change will go on. Geraint Vincent, News at 10.
But yet, what in the hell? You know what? Okay, so on the law, I'm glad that they've even put it into a law. That's a step in the right direction. It just feels like, why are we still doing this half steps? Like, why can't it, the law comes out and everybody has to abide by it? Why does it have to be incrementally? There are people in dire situations. Like, we all know that mold is so dangerous and toxic. This should be speedy. This should be literally across the board. You have to comply. Where she's living is crazy. That is, I cannot believe that, and we're going to call ourselves a first world country. Really? Come on now.
Okay, so you guys know I've gone through this shit, and it took years of back and forth with the with my housing association. But I am heartbroken for that woman, because I know what it's like to live in a place where you can't, I'm getting emotional, where you can't feel like you're at home. You feel like you're going mad, because every time you do something, like she said, it's like I've got PTSD. Damp clothing, the smell, things, ceilings caving in. I've been through all of this shit. They need to decant that woman. I cannot believe that they've actually got her living in this space, because with her child, the risks to her health are insane. They need to decant her, because they can do that. And even the thing when they're saying, oh, they move you back in. I was decanted from my property twice.
Yeah.
And they said that they fixed it. The second time I went back and they said that they fixed it, within 6 weeks, the mold came back.
Yeah.
It's so painful how you have to report it. And the fact that they're talking about it being, if it's deemed an emergency, it's what they deem an emergency as well. Because if your ceiling's falling in and you've got a leak, that's an emergency. They have to deal with that within a certain amount of time. If you've got mold, they don't, remember, listen to the wording that they said, reoccurring. There's so many things that they tell you first before they actually come and sort your fucking shit out. I'm heartbroken for her. I can see on her face, I can see what she's going through. She's had to move. I remember doing that. All your stuff is in the middle of a room because you're just scared, and there's nothing that you can do, because you're beholden to these fucking housing people who don't give a shit, and they don't come and see you. You send them pictures, you send them reports, they don't come and see you. They come, they paint one wall, they don't treat it. It's such a vicious circle. They treat people that are living in social housing like we're subhuman. We're not subhuman.
And that's how people view it, though, as well. They view it like somehow this is free. Like people aren't actually spending money. She is still paying rent on an abode that is generally killing her.
Yeah.
That
And she
mold
has
is
got no
literally
choice.
killing her. Yeah, and she doesn't have choice, because if you ain't got the money to move out and be private, you have to stay there. You're at the mercy of them actually deeming your living area insufficient. And
I hope
see what the types of places that they do see as it's not you can live there. They've left her there. They said that they were at her place 2022. That's 3 years ago.
So like
bit.
Caesar Blue's Hive, Caesar Blue 5 is saying where her friends and family. It's not about that. It's not about it's not whether or not she's got family or not. That is not what it's about. It's about the system that we live under that is decrepit, defunct, and was it corrupt, and is inefficient, and it's got nothing to do whether you've got family or not. It's not the family's responsibility to fix mold in someone's house. It's not the family's responsibility to rehouse her, to look after her child. It is the building that she lives in, whether you're a landlord or especially a freaking government provided building. That should be at the best service that you can get. It's got nothing to do with her family and friends, because she can't go and live with her family and friends. You're an independent person who's got a child, got your own life going on. Why should she have to go and live with her friends and family?
The child has to go to school. She has her own things. Like, it's not about friends and family. What are you meant to do? Pick up and go and sleep on someone's floor? It's not that simple. And I say that as someone who has gone through it. It is not that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is devastating. To live in circumstances like that is devastating. The way that it plays with your mental is devastating.
And the loss of
how traumatic it is for her.
You know, it's like money doesn't come like that anyway. You buy something and you will lose your property along the way. It's like I think it's really stupid when things are structurally defunct and folks try and move sideways instead of looking up for friends and family should be helping you. How? We don't build houses. We don't have land like that where somebody can just build you a house. Like let's look upwards. It's structures of people who have the means, and they should be caring about folks that are paying them rent to actually fix housing stock. This ain't a black or white issue. So come out of the chat if you're talking about black or there are thousands, if not millions, of white people living under these conditions as well. This is housing. This is about housing stock in this country, because there are private landlords who you don't even have the same rights with them. It's even worse. That's why it's out of order that you're staggering it. It's like this should be across the board. You have to follow the law. Everybody.
She's going to have so many health problems when they eventually move her, because that's what they're going to. Looking at that house, there's no fixing it. They need to just move her, right? There's no fixing that yard. She's going to have so many health problems. And then there's the financial implications of it as well. Because let me tell you this, when they move you, they're under no obligation to return your property, all the shit that you have lost. They are under no obligation to do that. You have to fight for every single thing. I lost 80% of my shit is new. I've had to replace that. And then when you go through the process of going through their insurance, because they'll tell you to go through yours first, when you go through the process of going through their insurance, they tell you that they do not do new for old. And then they give you a portion of what your stuff was worth. If you can be bothered to go through the years that it takes and the back and forth with their insurance companies. And you have to document, you have had to have documented everything. It's a setup, is what it is. They don't give a fuck, quite frankly.
Anubis 8918 says, but you definitely shouldn't be letting the mold reach a point where your house is inhabitable. That is not what the case is. Because you cannot. Sometimes mold, sometimes when it starts, you don't even know where it is. You can't even find it. You don't even know where the sources are. There's that. And then when you're in a position where you cannot afford to move out and you have no other means, it is not that simple. So you can't say you don't let the mold reach a point where your house is inhabitable.
That's not the case.
That's not what.
Not even how it goes.
That's not how it goes. It literally, I would open a cupboard door, right? That opened yesterday and had no mold. I'd open it today and it would be infested with mold. right? I was clean. I could tell you about how many different products that I had. You are fighting a losing battle because it is spores. That's what mold is. It is spores. It travels all over the place.
You know what?
And anti-sport and
in
the
my
thing
house. No, that person. You know when you can tell somebody hasn't experienced something, they have no knowledge of actually what mold is, and when you have mold in a council property, especially, or a property that has been up for 50 to 100 years, sometimes even in new builds because of the materials are recycled materials. You know when you know somebody doesn't actually know about mold. They're seeing mold like, oh, your bathroom is a little bit moldy and you can wipe it down. That's not the mold that woman is talking about, or the mold that you're talking about. And let's not like that. Like,
and let's not forget.
Listen, use your ears. Listen. If you don't know about it, listen to us.
And let's
and
not
the other thing is as well, sorry, just to say this as well. The other thing is as well, when social houses were built, they weren't built with ventilation. Okay, so this is the problem. When they're not built with ventilation, you are fighting between cold and hot. You can see when you see condensation on somebody's window, that is the temperature within the actual house is so porous that it's creating a situation where the mold is giving the mold the perfect place, the perfect, what's the word I'm looking for? The perfect situation to thrive. That's not down to someone not cleaning their yard. That's not it.
Yeah, Yvonne's saying a block of new builds in Peckham were evacuated within a year of being open because the whole block was riddled with damp and mold. And it's also the councils that use, as we said it last, I think literally last week, we're talking about the fact that they'd rather use cheap materials and put a plaster over a deep wound rather than going in properly from the jump, using proper materials, and then you've got longevity and sustainability. But they just cut corners to keep their pockets lined and everyone else in devastation. And you can't just go and buy mold paint, because actually I remember, Farrah, when you said the man came and painted them, it comes back. That mold, I don't know where that mold paint works. I don't know how that mold, I don't even know why it's a solution.
It doesn't work for anybody. It just doesn't work the time. You know,
so
it's like
you want a mum with a kid to go and get mold paint her own fucking yard. She's not the landlord.
It won't work. It won't. The mold paint won't work because that is on the surface. The mold is actually in the bricks. That's where it comes from. The damp, is in the bricks. You can paint mold paint all day long. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Trust me when I say I went through everything. Everything.
Yeah. It's just a plaster. It's what they do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they have steps for, even when they know, especially in blocks. When I was working at Barking Council, and they would, so you'd send out the emergency people to fix certain things, and they would know there was a thorough plumbing issue in lots of blocks. They know this. They know that realistically, everybody from this block needs to be moved. They know this, but they would spend millions doing small fixes, waiting for a disaster to take place. And that is basically what they were doing with Grenfell. That you know that there was an electrical problem. They knew this. People were complaining about it all the time, but you do small fixes until it goes boom, and then everyone's like, oh, we didn't even know, and nobody is held responsible. Damp is a problem in so many areas of life in this country. They know they've got to do something about it. This law is a first step, but you have to do it widespread. It needs to be that we are taking this serious because people are dying from it, and they don't have to.
Okay, Anubis again. Sorry, Anubis. I've experienced it and repainted with anti-mold paint and undercoat with PVA and anti-mold. The council definitely have responsibility, but this is all by design. Okay, but that's you individual. Did you go and do the whole block? Do you have time to go and help everybody else? You might have the capacity to do it for yourself. And that's all good for that's you. That's in hundreds and thousands of houses in the UK and around the world that don't have the resources to do that.
And the thing is, as well, you can do your own property, right? So, for example, when it first started to happen, I had mold paint treatment and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. However, like Nana said, if there are leaks within the building, remember, when you live in social housing, it is, especially if you live in flats, right? It is all linked.
Yes.
They don't just build it individually. It's all linked, which means that all of the pipes, everything's connected. The woman upstairs from me had a leak, right? Yes. So every time she's having a leak, it's seeping into my bricks. It's seeping into my home. And eventually, it's coming out. Yes. It also affected the woman above her because it's spreading. It's not just a matter of what you do in your own house. It's how these places are built and it's how they're maintained. And let's not forget that now, we've spoken about this as well. Councils and housing associations no longer have a caretaker on site who's there to do shit. Yeah, they outsource all of this stuff. So they don't want to spend the money on maintaining their properties. They don't.
Yeah, it's purposeful, especially when they see it's coming to the end of actually it could be condemned, we could sell it, or going to people are going to buy it, and then it becomes their problem. Like they know they are setting this up, but well done to you for repainting, and hopefully nothing else happens and you are fine. That isn't the situation for everybody else, and it has nothing to do with paint. People have gone through that. They have been left floorboards up, all of that stuff. Sometimes folks need to be given a new place to live, and that's it. They need to be moved on.
What happened with me.
That's how you remedy it.
The other thing that I will say as well, you can paint walls and all that stuff. You can see that this woman has tried. If you look at her house again, you can see that she has tried. But because the walls are so wet, things do not stay. Okay, it will fall down because her walls are so wet. Like if they were to actually get those, you have those gauges and you put them on the wall and it tells you how damp and how porous like the whole fucking place is. If I would hate to see the limits that she's living in. I'd hate to see it.
Anubia said up back and said no. That's why I said the council have a responsibility. It's all by design. High rise is definitely peak. Yeah, so because earlier on you said it's you shouldn't let it get to that level. Everyone understands now. It's not the fault of the tenant. Like yes, there are some. There could be some tenants that bring it on themselves. There can be, but generally at large, the issue is the lack of professionalism, whatever the word is, or care just that the councils have. Government housing is shit at this point.
The day that one of the top guys, I think my situation is I was very lucky because I happened to catch someone when they were doing an inspection, and I actually just made that person. I made them know. I brought them to my house, and the minute he walked in my house, he said to me, "I don't even have to say anything to him. He smelt it.
Yeah,
he smelt it. The minute he walked in, he could see and I showed him stuff." And that I was very lucky to get hold of this person who was like one of the directors of the housing. Not everyone's lucky. It was God that brought that man to me because he shouldn't even have been at home on the day that I saw him. Not everyone's that fortunate. It takes years and years of going through this process.
And everyone at different level. Remember, at the core of it, and this is one of many. This little boy died, so there's no timeline to where. You know what, get it done today, tomorrow. There's no timeline. So in that years of thing, the vulnerable person in the house or flat could pass. That's real. We're blessed because me and my daughter both have asthma. The minute I saw a little bit of mold and stuff, we had a leak that come from upstairs, had to call them out. Like if anything happens, we've messed up. We've both got asthma. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not about it's
I got sinusitis as a result of it.
Yeah, exactly. Now you've got a long-lasting illness.
It affects people, but also it's like for their case. I remember when it first came out in their inquiry and how much they had been complaining about the damp in the house, and they were basically going through the same thing. We're going to paint it. We're going to change all of that, but they have a vulnerable child in there. You have a sick child already, and you know what mold does. And I think that's the thing that really hurts my heart is councils know that it kills people. You know it's that dangerous. Like this isn't new news. You know this, but you will leave a family in a place to just go through the cycle of stuff. When there is housing stock available, you can move them. Take them out of the environment. I don't know why they are torturing this woman, leaving her in that flat.
And that's what it is.
The fact that even goes to show she's been in the public. She's been on the news once before and is back again. Same story. It doesn't even matter if you have public attention. Kojo Tenenbaum, I had his video up. I mean, it's more of the stuff. Kojo Tenenbaum does a lot. He's one of our advocates in the UK who's been doing a lot about speaking out about the ills of social housing and all the stuff that's going on. And that clip I had was like, he's talking about there's how many millions of empty homes in the UK. Yet they keep building and they keep building crap social housing homes. But there's all these homes out there that are not lived in for whatever tax purpose, whatever the case, billionaires or rich people buying up places and leaving them so they can rent them out, or for whatever freaking reason they're doing it. And you've got thousands of homeless children, either homeless kids or kids living in squalor.
Yes.
Squalor.
that should be being moved, and that's what it's about. It's like it should be being moved. They should have the spaces, and they do. They have the housing stock to move people out of these environments instead of having them locked into traumatic situations. Like this is just, it's cruel and it's evil, and you still have to pay your rent. And you need to understand that social housing is not free. It's not even dramatically cheaper. Like it's like it's still a sizable amount of a lot of people's wage that goes on their rent, and then you're in a shit environment as well. When you see blocks, especially living in Stratford, where they built on the Olympic Park, and you could see the places that were going to be social housing by the sizes of the windows. The windows are smaller. This is a black neighboring, same builders. You're working on it. Social housing, we're going to give you smaller windows, more brick, and then the housing stock that is going to go on private market, we're giving you big windows. It's like, why are you doing this to people? It's not free. I still got to pay you rent. Exactly. But you're making my living experience less than my neighbor.
Right. Absolutely. And also, like you said, Nana, it is not even that cheap. Let's just say that. My rent that I pay is like someone's mortgage.
And also, it's even a compensation. Look, the lack of compensation you got when we're going through it, like listening to what you're saying, like let's see, and the UK is not as litigious as the America is. I don't know if in America you'd even get more money. We don't get those type of compensations over here, so you can't even sue the council because I don't know for what it is. We don't get that. So like the fact that we should be able to sue the council, we should get months, years off our rent. Because how dare you command the same? You've got people complaining about paying hotel prices after a hurricane. This building was caused me sickness, caused me damage, caused me issue. Yeah, I must still pay you. That's toxic.
And they got the cheek. So when it's Christmas, be sending you messages saying it might be Christmas, but don't forget to pay your rent.
Yes. Why? Or you got the campaign, the MPs only start once a year.
One time, I remember arguing with them one time, and I was like, "So should I not pay my rent until you fix this shit? Is that what I should do? Or should I not pay my service charges because I'm clearly not getting any service from you? So, okay, I'll pay my rent, but I'm going to remove my service. Oh, Miss Charles, you can't do that. You know, you have to make sure that you stay. It's not for anybody's benefit. What the fuck? You're not giving me any service.
You're crazy.
What am I paying for?
Let's get some comments and bypass the crazy ones.
Coco Pop Sweet says, I've got bronchitis from living with mold. It's so serious. Ruby Who says, Farrah, I feel the pain, the hurt, the PTSD.
She says she's living out. Yeah, she goes on to say I was living in a hotel out of boxes for 3 years.
Oh my god, this is temporary. Man, our housing situation is something else. Serena says, I had to move because of that problem. I had to work 2 jobs, worked as a cleaner, cash in hand, to pay for a deposit to move. I had a son to look after. His health was my responsibility.
Yeah.
And flipping out. It's
and the thing is not to say, like, on one hand, it's like anything, you know, you're lucky that you've got a social housing. You're lucky if you've even got a system that has social housing. In my country, in my place, we don't have that. All very grateful. It doesn't mean to say we have to be grateful for shit. It just doesn't make any sense. You don't have to be grateful for shit.
Free. Okay?
It's not free.
And absolutely what you said, it doesn't give people the right to treat you like you're subhuman.
Yeah.
Okay?
At all.
And to put your health at risk ultimately.
Exactly that. Christian Jane says part of the issue is the monetization and profiting off of people's basic needs like housing. Exactly.
Yeah, all of that.
That becomes a part of, and it's we pay our council taxes. It's like you have our income taxes. You're taxing us all the time. And if circumstances are that I am in social housing, I expect the government to look after people that are in social housing. I expect that because we're all paying for this.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be like, that's your circumstances. I hate when normal folks start to have those sentiments.
Yeah,
it actually really hurts my heart that just because you're in a slightly better position, that you would be like, come on, pull your bootstraps. Like, it's disgusting. It's a disgusting attitude to have. We should all be looking out for our fellow neighbor and want everybody to live reasonably. It's not asking too much that we just live in a world where everybody has a decent standard of life.
Exactly. The fact that in that report, the council's response or her housing's response was that we're aware of her situation.
Crazy.
That's your fucking response. We're aware of her situation. And I used to say to people, I bet your house is all right, isn't it? I bet you go home and you're okay. Meanwhile, I've got my child here. This woman's got her child in that place. She can't even, she's living out of 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Because they're the last rooms that have got any kind of like, you know, lack of mold in them.
So I just move her out. This is
Just
crazy.
move her out. And if you don't want to give her a new house because there isn't stock, move her, decant her then and fix her yard. Because you can do that.
Exactly.
All right.
But last comment, Christian James says, when there are incentives to make money, they're incentivized to cut corners. But these are people's lives. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is the problem, hugely.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to some nonsense because we must take a break from all this sadness. This is my interest in science and robots. The humanoid robot, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's the one that's claiming to be the first to do household chores. An American company says it's created the first humanoid robot designed to perform everyday domestic chores. The Neo robot, developed by 1X Home Robots, can fold laundry, organize shelves, and tidy up rooms using AI that learns user preferences and routines. Obviously, you know, I'm scared I'm never going to get one. So Marquise Brownlee, he's a great tech reviewer guy. He's got a problem with this humanoid robot because it reveals something that's not quite right about it. So he's going to take us through it.
Self-charging, and it lives in your house. It's finally here. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's for doing chores. It's a housekeeper. It has the same dexterity as a human because it's shaped just like a human, walks around on 2 legs, has 10 fingers. It can fold laundry and put it away for you, or it can do the dishes for you from start to finish and then put everything away. It can go around and water the plants outside or inside on a perfect schedule, and it never forgets a single plant. And then it'll go around and vacuum and tidy up the house if anything gets left out. It always knows where everything is. It can find the TV remote, and it'll basically actively do all the chores that you know you have to do, but you don't actually want to do. And when it's done, it goes back to its little docking spot and charges itself. Imagine going out for the day of work and coming back a few hours later and everything's done. All the chores are finished. Every single time, every day, you never have to do chores again. That's amazing. Or maybe let's say you have mobility issues. This thing can sort of act as a personal assistant in a lot of ways. These are things that represent massive value for a lot of people. And it's available to order now. This is available to order. This feels like it could be the best tech announcement of all time in 2025, except this isn't real. And I mean that in the most literal way possible. This is not real. First of all, it's a pre-order. So you can go to this website right now and you can pick between 3 colors. And then it's either $500 a month subscription for a standard delivery, or you can pay a flat $20,000 to own it outright and get priority delivery. Just drop a $200 fully refundable deposit to get in line today. And deliveries in the US start sometime next year. And that's just allegedly. We don't know when it's actually going to ship. Now, to be clear, it's not actually the price that I have a big problem with. Like, I know these numbers seem eye-popping on paper, but this is a first-generation bleeding-edge humanoid robot assistant. Like, I never thought that this would be cheap. And also, there isn't really competition yet. So you got to imagine the target audience is going to be people whose time is worth more than the money they're spending on it. Like, this is for people who the idea of saving a few hours on chores every week so that they can use that time to make more money actually makes logical sense. Like, people really think like that. It's for early adopters. It's for people who want to spend however much they think it's worth on this brand new novel thing. That's fine. But my issue with this product is the gap between what it's actually capable of today and what they're promising as they take your money today. Like, I think when people watch a video like this, they expect that this robot has some sort of built-in artificial intelligence that allows it to recognize objects and navigate around on its own and learn your house and be productive for those hours while you're gone. And that, I think, would be a reasonable thing to get out of watching that video, because that's what it's designed to show. That's what you're supposed to feel. That's the dream. But that's not actually what's happening. So Joanna Stern, the legend, she did a video with this Neo robot also this week where the company showed her all the things that it could do. And turns out 100% of the things that they showed her were remotely controlled by a human in another room wearing a VR headset with controllers. That's not exaggerating. 100% of the stuff they showed her. The carrying things around, the loading up the dishwasher. I mean, look at this thing. Yeah, all of this is teleoperated. And this was a demo set up by this one X company. So this is like best case scenario stuff. And I see a lot of people defending this robot online like, oh, no, there's probably other things that it can do autonomously. They just didn't show her yet. Really? You don't think they would show her the best stuff that this could do autonomously to keep selling the dream? If you watch that keynote video back, to their credit, you'll notice that they actually are very careful to label exactly when the robot is doing something autonomously and not teleoperated. And in that whole nearly 10-minute video, there's exactly 2 scenes that have this label. There's the get the door command.
Get the door, please.
Where the robot walks over to the door because someone's coming up. It grabs the handle, waits for the guest, and then sort of pulls the door open and fumbles backwards a little bit, kind of like a toddler to let them inside. And then there's the put away the dishes command, where the robot toddles over to the person, recognizes the harmless, not glass, empty cup in its hand, grabs it, and then walks away with it.
Why does he look like a bum?
Cool. No, seriously, that's actually pretty impressive. Even if I could already today unlock the door.
Okay, I'll drop the rest of this in the chat. You can watch it.
What a scam.
Yeah.
Wow. We're out here just scamming folks. Wowzers.
Good. Anyway, why do you need that fucking shit?
It's like
it's scary.
Yeah, and also drum and bass is what they don't tell you is secretly sending private information about to governments and the company that lobbies them. All of that makes no sense. Why not pay for a maid, a real person?
I think it's so crazy. Come on, that was a ridiculous one. That is nuts. That's wild. Basically, you're just gonna have a hunk of metal in your yard.
Yeah,
that's it. It's just gonna turn into like a statue. Come on now. Wow.
Christian James said it's fun and charming in a way, but pretty dystopian. It's not fun and charming for me. Robot, I told you, it's my survival manual. There's no, I don't know where. If I've got one in my house, it's because there's a way that they forced me. Because there's no reason. They got like it's like there's no choice, but you have to have one in your, like, maybe if I move and it's like it comes with there's nothing you can do. Every house
in the place already.
Yeah, like you can't
part of it.
Yeah, like there's something.
That's such a scam. It's the man in the other room actually. Yeah. What a scam!
Crazy. What is it telling you that you have to actually have the thing on to be telling the robot to do the thing?
Or you have to hire a human to do that.
Yeah.
So the human do the cleaning yourself. Then open the freaking. It's that fast tracking into everything being easy.
Oh my god!
But it's not. It's to come down for an hour once a week.
It's true. Only the sex ones will be successful. Caesar Blue 5, take me before the robot. I mean, I'm not going to be taken. Thank you. And that's also saying, well, I'm just about better than a robot. I don't know what you're saying here, sir.
That is crazy.
My god, what the hell? If you just check WhatsApp, AK, I've dropped in a link.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh my word. No, that's a proper scam. That's wild. I would have a robot, but I need the robot to not need much interaction from a human for it to be
also scary, Nana.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to be scammed by a robot that actually isn't really a robot, because it's just being controlled by me. But I also don't want a robot that is doing its own thing.
Cleaning the house, but then you could just employ somebody. Really, like
that's what it needs. Hire a human.
Yeah, it needs to be doing things that make life easier and safer for humans, so they don't have to do. So, like different forms of labor intensive stuff that people don't want to do. Some folks actually do like cleaning. So that's the only reason why I'd be like, okay, robots could be used, but I don't know. It feels a bit...
the adoption thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
What am
If you've got another piece of nonsense, you can go into that, but just in closing.
No, it is not, but this isn't nonsense.
No.
What am I saying? It's National Adoption Week. A welcome home isn't a perfect home.
Yes.
Okay, it's been National Adoption Week, which coincides with Black History Month. 20th to the 26th of October was National Adoption Week. A new campaign led by You Can Adopt is encouraging more Black families to consider adoption by challenging one of the biggest misconceptions holding people back, that a child needs a perfect home. I guess what is interpreted what a perfect home is. The new campaign, A Welcome Home, celebrates the beauty of perfectly imperfect family life, where love, culture, and belonging take priority over picture-perfect ideals. A new survey conducted with 500 adopted parents in England reveals that almost 9 in 10, that's 86%, were worried they needed a perfect home before adopting. Yet the reality tells a different story. 41% of adopted parents surveyed live in homes with 2 bedrooms or less. 65% don't have a garden. 25% live in rented accommodation. Still, these homes have become havens of love and stability for children who need them the most. Insights from adoption agencies across the country show that the cost of living crisis has contributed to a decline in the number of people coming forward to adopt, with new data showing a 12% decline in prospective adopter registrations compared to last year. This means that more children are now facing delays of over 18 months before being matched with a family, with Black and mixed heritage children waiting approximately 5 months longer to find a permanent home. Data also shows that Black and mixed heritage children represent around 7% of children in care. They account for only 2% of adopted children. This disparity means that many of these children will never secure a permanent home unless more prospective adopters come forward. Research shows that one of the many things children need from their future home is a connection to ethnic or cultural heritage and spaces to express identity, cited by 20% of adopters surveyed. This is especially important within Black communities, where home is often more than a physical space, a sense of belonging, and a bridge to identity and pride. And just a quote, Jennifer, an adopted mother of 2 boys, said, "When we adopted our first son, we were worried that he didn't have the perfect home, but we soon realized that what he needed most wasn't perfection, it was love, empathy, structure, and to see himself reflected in his house. Every family story, every celebration, and every cultural meal, that's what makes our home complete." So to mark the start of National Adoption Week, You Can Adopt has launched an immersive new installation, A Welcome Home, in London and Leeds, a hand-drawn kitchen which many families describe as the heart of their home. Co-created with real adopted families from across the UK and inspired by the imaginations and memories of adopted children, the installation captures the warmth and chaos of family life where love grows in the everyday moments, over messy breakfast, music, and shared laughter.
What I found like interesting about this campaign, and I did start to see bits and pieces filtering through, is when I think of adoption, I always say, I'd love to adopt, but I picture myself in our big forever home, like in a stepping stone in life where it's like you're sorted and then you could bring in a child. And I did like the I guess like the ethos of this being like your home is already your forever place. Like it's really more about your family and providing a family for somebody who is up for adoption. It's like it did change my mindset on it. Like actually we could be ready now. It doesn't have to be that it's some grand space that you're bringing this child into. It's just giving them a loving home. I think it needs to be put out a little bit more so that more Black people, however their circumstances are, feel ready to be like, I could actually open my home up to somebody that needs it.
And also that you don't have to be a conventional 2.4 family, because I've also thought about adopting for a very long time, and it is something that I am going to do. I just, trying to find the resources as well. You don't kind of know how to start. So I appreciate this website and these people and what they're doing to drive that home, because like you, Nana, I have always thought, okay, well, when I'm more stable here, or maybe when I get a partner, or maybe, there's always a reason why you feel like you can't go through with it or you can't pursue it a bit more. So I think this is very interesting.
Yeah, I was I was more thinking about financial resources and time. And I think this is really good to have people think about whether their places need to be perfect. And I was thinking they were going to mention about being a 2.4 family, not having to be, because I know I like a few foster people, women that foster, and they don't have a husband in the place. But they foster children as well. So it's like, that's where I was thinking that I wouldn't necessarily have to have a partner, but it was about having space and financial resources. So yeah, I think everyone should look into whether that, and also your mental capacity. If you're unhealed, leave that alone, because you do need to have the capacity and the wherewithal to look after a child that needs. And I think people also envision that. I'll find the website Sim. I think people also envision that the children that come are all going to be super emotionally damaged and need a lot of attention. Sometimes all they need is just a spot to come home to, people that love them, and that's it. They don't have like trauma, mental health, and all that stuff. Yes, maybe they've been left for whatever reason, but the fact of that is all they need to make it through the rest of their life is a family that loves them. So you don't have to worry about being, I mean, you do have to be mentally stable, but you don't have to necessarily think, oh, okay, I don't have I'm not a psychiatrist or a therapist. I don't have all those type of things.
Yeah.
Love. If you've got love to give, that's what
the main thing.
That is the main, and a good family setting in all the iterations of family settings. I think it's really good to open it up. I mean, even that it's 18 months, and that for Black and mixed race children, it's like 5 months longer than that.
Yeah,
so 2 years waiting on the list as well. We could do our parts, like all normal folks, to even just look into it. I think, there needs to be more awareness around that these are options for us as well. You know, we can't, again, we are the village. So sometimes you got to think about, do I have the capacity? Could I? This could be something I explore.
I think the minute you're looking at having a child or more children, that's a conversation that you should think about, and the option of adoption is there. I think that's very fair. Okay, guys, let's say thank you to everybody that contributed to today's show. Have you got the list up, Nans?
Yes. And you still got time, people. You still got time to send in your contributions as the plate is going round one last time. We have Sora, she came in hot with €5 for us. Thank you. We have Authentic Freedom came along with $4.99.
And another one.
And then Authentic Freedom came back again with another $4.99. Christian came in, and she always does, with $19.99. We love you. Thank you so much. And then Kevin came in with £5 for us.
Thank you.
Stephanie Morgan come in with $4.99.
Thank you.
Rochelle gifted somebody a membership, and if you got that membership, say thank you to Rochelle. And also, you can join up to our membership as well. Please do. I will drop the link in a second. Then we had Cracker J come in as well, and he gave us £10.
Thank you.
Stephen gave us £5.
Thank you.
Came back again with a further £2.
Thank you.
Will Smith Goat came in with $1.99.
Thank you.
Kevin came back again with £5 for
Thank you.
And Zane came back in with $10.
Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you. It keeps the light. Oh, look, Stephanie Morgan. Thank you, my darling, coming in. Thank you.
Come on, guys, keep it going. Let us dance again like the last time when you gave us a Super Sunday and you just donated loads. That was a fun day. I cherish those moments.
All righty, I've got to go and do my hair. I've got to take my hair out and do that stuff. So
lovely.
Guys.
That was fun. Well, we covered a lot of news.
We did.
We did indeed. Not so much nonsense, but a lot of news.
Yeah,
a lot of news.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you for participating.
Have a wonderful Sunday.
Happy Sunday, folks.
Bye.